Jazz hands. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stat Check episode 118. This is Starshatter Waiting Room, Pariah tier list, and meta update. We have a full house in stock for you today. I hope everybody is feeling fine and ready on this Tuesday evening for the game to take some seismic shifts to hopefully a data slate soon, definitely detachment soon. And we're here to talk about how it's been going for the last week, and then we will be going through our sort of quarterly review of the state of the metagame over the last couple of months, having a look at how well predictions went, where everybody's standing as we roll into the balance of this season. We're not expecting a ton of events over the next couple of weeks, so we figured now is as good a time as any as we prep up for the Christmas season. Anthony, you going to a singles event is like a once in a blue moon occasion, and it's not something.
I mean, it's already an aberration, so
exactly
momentous. It's huge.
So I hope everybody is doing well. I am Innes. I'm joined by Nathan, Anthony, and Jeremy, and we're going to start, as always. How you guys been? Nathan, kick us off.
I'm doing great. Watching everybody like either have a meltdown or have like a wonderful day every day, which is it's every day is a new emotional roller coaster, and the roller coaster is exhausting. So there's that. Work picks up towards winter recess in the university lab world, so we get a couple weeks off around the end of December for holidays, but it means everybody's trying to do everything all at once, so I am slowly dying inside.
no.
Other than that, I've been reading a cool book called The Call by Pater O'Gillan, which is great.
Is it the Votan book?
No, The Call is a book about the Irish elves taking over Ireland and locking it off from the rest of the world.
So not about Votan.
I mean,
No.
same.
Well, it's more like, I don't know, it's got the best portrayal of like evil elves that I've ever seen in like a modern fantasy.
I don't know. Locking Ireland off from the rest of the
40K?
world might be an improvement for both sides.
True. I did play a game of 40K. I've been just playing random Eldar bullshit because random
Nice.
Eldar bullshit seems fun.
Did you play the
It
Red?
is
It
fun.
doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if it's good. I just played your list in it. That's all I did.
Yep. My list. God, I love this Discord.
Your RTT winning list, Innes, is what I played.
The Innes Wilson Eldar list, dude.
It actually says I took this from Innes in my app. Although every single list in there says who I took it from. So all the World Leaders lists are just from Anthony. They're just Anthony's
All.
list.
Is it just one? Because
There is just one.
yeah, okay.
There's 4 copies of it, but it's the exact same.
There are.
There's one
I
with
do
3
make
jackals and one with 2 jackals and a spawn for when he hadn't got his
Yep.
spawn yet.
Yeah.
there's and like every list is just like that.
Fair.
Like, originality is dead and we have killed him.
I mean, imagine
That listing
wasting
is
your
fun.
time.
What more could people possibly want aside from net listing? I don't know. I don't have time to make my lists.
I mean,
Barely
most
have
of the
time
people,
to paint, let alone play. I'm just gonna crib them. From you
dude, most of
guys.
the people that write their own
Whatever.
lists write abject garbage and then are confused why they're losing. So that's fine.
If it ain't
That's
broke,
true.
don't fix it.
Yeah.
Just steal someone else's list and then tweak it for flavor. You know, the good way.
Correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like 1 unit.
Yeah.
Just an enhancement, actually. Also,
That also works.
I read the Assassin's detachment, and it made me really amused, and I want to play it just because it's stupid.
It
Like,
has
I
such a good
just-
stratagem.
It has
it's great.
the stratagem
random
suite is amazing
nonsense.
if it was in any other army.
Any other army, if it had that stratagem, it'd be great. The enhancements, kind of fun.
I
They're not
genuinely have
enhancements.
I didn't even look at that detachment. It came out and I was like, ha! And kept moving.
Anthony, it has one CP 9th Ed Heroic for 6. And it doesn't matter, just at all.
That's not important.
It's amazing. I love it so much. Like, somebody's going to get scammed by a Subductor Squad with that stratagem, and it's going to be really annoying, but ain't going to be you.
I was going to say, you know who they're not eager to get into melee with? Anything I play.
I'm really excited because
That's not true. You played Harlequin shooting.
They did.
Uh,
That's true.
People have been jazzed about the Grey Knight's character, like assassin characters, and I'm like, one Calexis assassin. It's all it takes. Position that Grey Knight's character right out of that.
Be
unit.
gone.
Like, that Grey Knight character has, like, what, 5 attacks at best, if it's a Grey Knight character?
You can probably just charge him. He'll probably get stuck.
It's the mortal wounds, like in addition to wounding. I think.
Yeah, he gets
that's
the
part of
he gets the Reaper of
Decision.
Obliter Bad, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Obliterate. Yeah, it is Obliterate.
Bad version of it. It doesn't ignore wound caps. Now there aren't any, but for the time being,
There
it doesn't,
aren't any wound.
Yeah,
There could be wound caps. They
doesn't
could
ignore
introduce
them.
that.
They just don't.
Just
No one has
wait.
any yet.
Yeah.
Innis, it's early. They
That's the
could
new
introduce a wound cap.
That's the new Phoenix Lord rule.
Yep.
Ugh,
It's-
please no.
You can only cause one. You can at most cause 1 damage to this
They're
character.
actually they're putting it on the Wraith Knight instead of -1 damage.
No. It's the Phoenix Lords get it. You can do 1 damage to them per battle round.
Yeah, that sounds right. Jeremy, how about yourself? How has life been? How was your tournament?
It was fun. So I didn't know I was at a tournament in Quebec City, probably the most beautiful city in Canada. I love it there. The community there is really awesome. I've been to 2 or 3 tournaments before in Quebec City. I brought German Votan because I too lack originality and also just needed some kind of palate cleanser after Worlds. And yeah, I unfortunately wasn't feeling great for most of the weekend. But it turns out that didn't really show through to my opponents because I won 3 games, lost 2, and I ended up best overall because my paint score was high enough, and I had a perfect sportsmanship score because everyone gave me 5 out of 5 on every single game. I was like, so I got
Bet
this.
you bullied them all
Yay.
mercilessly, and
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, 2 of the games I won were 20-0, like, obliteration, boot on neck, you do not get up again. But at the end of both of those games, they're like, that was a really fun game. But what if I done this, this, and this? And we would have, like, a tactics discussion afterwards. So,
I had it on good authority that being nice to your opponent meant letting them score a bunch of points that they didn't
no, fuck
earn.
that. No, you
What?
can make them score 0 points, and they can still have a good game.
they're allowed to get to 49 as long as you hit 100.
That's actually true.
You can have 48 battle points, because I can't score 100 in this mission because it's dumb.
There you go.
I've never looked.
Anthony's never looked at anybody ever scoring any points.
Yeah,
Yeah, Anthony definitely 20 knows everybody he plays against. That's 100% I think.
yeah, dude.
Especially all the Death Guard players he plays.
Just most of those, unfortunately.
all the Grey Knights and Votan and
Yeah. Voting got a 10 off me at
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
fucking, you know.
Jeremy, what's your highlight detachment? And Nathan, you wasted his on goddamn agents. So
great.
It's a tough one because I actually wrote the review for Goonhammer for Agents, Custodes, Dark Angels, and AdMech, and so all 4 of them are kind of jumbled around in my head. I do really like the AdMech detachment. Is it better than the Secretary Contra Cohort?
how do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce it, Jeremy?
I don't remember what it's called. But I'm pretty
The
sure
word
it's
Halo, then an S, then the word Creed, and I don't know how that's pronounced.
Oh no, it's Halos Reed.
It's what if the Google Cloud could
You missed
kill you?
There's an entire
That's
C
what
in
it
there that you didn't pronounce. So that's
Yeah, it's a silent
definitely
C.
not correct.
That's-
Oh,
It's the silent C. Excellent.
Like
I
the C in
love that.
science. Great.
Yeah, so it's Halo Seed,
Sure.
like the SC in science.
Halo Seed. Yeah.
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 Cool. Sick. Anthony, you got a
no,
better guess for that one?
No. Nope. I don't,
me too.
I don't think it can get worse, but I'm definitely not going to do better.
It can
Keep looking
always
at me
be
like I don't think that's not a word. There's no words in there. So
Battleclade's a word at least. But no, my favorite one is probably the Dark Angels one, just because Dark Angels is my original army, and I do absolutely love the ability to play Ravenwing and Deathwing together. Is it better than Gladius? No. Is it more fun? Probably.
I don't even
it's
think
definitely
that's true.
less Gladius, and that is objectively a thing that I'm always tempted by in Marines after playing like 200.
It also means that people will
Gladius.
shut the fuck up about us having access to Gladius.
No, they won't.
No,
Yeah.
what?
Like,
Why would
one
they
can
not?
hope. One can hope, okay?
No.
It's
You
so
guys have
much
access
worse
to
than
the
Gladius.
best Marine detachment.
You shut up, Anthony.
It's not even close.
Shh.
Anthony,
Let them
what about
know.
yourself?
What's up?
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm busy. I'm trying to buy a house. I'm trying to get ready to go to Pariah. I'm trying to not get fired at my day job. Busy. Yeah. That's, things are generally going pretty well. It's an interesting time to be a Chaos Marines fan. They have 2 extremely well balanced against each other, at least, detachments. That's pretty tight. I don't really know what they're going to add that's going to keep pace with whatever the fuck that stratagem does in Renegade Raiders. But I wish them luck.
Disciples of Be'lakor?
that ain't gonna work. That is not gonna be enough.
They're gonna add another Tides of Blood Canoptic Court thing.
I mean,
God,
sure,
please no,
okay.
not another one.
You Emperor's Children with
If
the
you're
heroic trap
within
from Lion's Blade.
Look, there's a lot of things they could do, but I'm just saying that, you know, it seems unlikely that there will be a thing that comes out that, like, competes with what Vets and,
Oh no, that's what I
Renegades do.
actually. That's what I want now for Gene Circle, is the aberrance to get access to the charge in your opponent's turn stratagem.
there you go. Yeah, like, Vets is generally some of the more, like, fun I've had in a while. The, Renegade Raiders can definitely be a little frustrating, was my general experience with them. But they're fine. They're very good. Obviously, like, you don't win, you know, 3 games in a row, 20-0 with a bad army. They're just not, like, I don't know. It's very, like, uninspiring, I think is how I would describe
You
playing
sure do
Renegade.
play a lot of very normal Warhammer with that army. Is kind of how I
Not-
would describe it.
Not really.
Feels like
Renegades is so, like... I have too many 3-wound bodies. Also, my tanks advance and shoot. Sorry you stood on that objective. See you
That's
later, loser. Like...
I guess that's
eh.
more of the possessed build thing than like the MSU build, which was very much just
Oh,
like normal
sure,
Warhammer,
yeah.
but faster.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the possessed build is definitely a little bit different than the other one in
That's true,
that
yes.
regard.
That is true.
But yeah, I've had a lot of fun, kind of like vibing around in that space. I am, if I was a betting man, I would say it's very unlikely that I'm RCSM pilot come Pariah, but we'll see. I'm excited to pick the axe back up, you know, soonish, and go back to playing World Leaders. It's funny, like, because the game changes so much, playing World Leaders doesn't get stale from my perspective. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I have played this a lot, but I haven't played it, like, even already, I've been off World Leaders for, like, since Champs, so that's what, 2-3 months?
Yeah, 3 months, 2.5 months.
And I don't think I've played a game against probably like a comfortable 2/3 of like the top stuff right now, which is hilarious. Like I think I've played against like that hyper thick list that was like all over WCW like twice. I've played against, you know, like the new guard once. Like it's super weird just like because, you know, how much I've played it, but it's still like, oh yeah, no, it, you know. You got to stay current, I guess would be the right way to put it.
It's definitely an army that leverages your player and matchup knowledge. Like, very heavily,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Is like, what can you kill? What actually can't you kill? Oh, how do the auras need to be saturated this game, you know? And if you're not staying on top of it, it is very easy to fall behind. So, yeah, it's going to be a matter of practicing and seeing how the comp builds itself and seeing how it goes. I'm very curious to see how it does into a lot of these new detachments. I think that Custodes was probably already broadly not super favorable for World Leaders, but I think this new Dread build is like a fucking nightmare for them. Mostly because the one Dread just gets back up. I think if it just like died when you killed it, that'd be fine. Because World Leaders are
I
broadly
do
very...
love the idea of one of those with the Feel No Pain.
It's not worth giving that the feeling. You just put that
No,
on
it's
Talon,
not, but it's
like,
funny.
Yeah, there's no... I mean, they just stand back up. You want it to die, because when it gets back up, it has rerolls. Like, the like whole spam meta in general, I think will be a good spot for what seems like it will be a whole spam meta. Seems like a good spot for World Leaders to fit into in general, but it's gonna be really interesting to see like which ones actually have either like A, enough counter charge, or B, enough you know, like annoying shit basically to slow it down. It was super funny to watch Starshatter come out and everyone be like, oh, you can't kill the king. And I'm like, you can't kill the king.
Plenty of things can kill the king.
Let's calm that down a little bit. So yeah, that's been it. I'm playing a GT this weekend. Nice cheeky 6-round event. It's been...
Is this Crumpmas?
it's like the same idea. It's actually like fully named. Like the event is for the Federation of the Blind now.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that'll be pretty tight. Looking forward to that.
I'm sad I'm not there to explode another one of Innes's.
One of Innes's Raveners.
He's still not been prepared. That guy's still in bed.
I know. I expect you
just
to leave it on.
I might
broken.
actually put him in a frame for you and give him to you.
He would end up back there if you did that.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, I had the misfortune of playing into the Custodes Dreads detachment today, and yeah, it was annoying. Just fucking one wound dreadnought, just like, I'm not gonna die. Oh, you killed me? Cool, stand back up. And now gonna charge you again and take your home objective off you.
Yeah,
Please
also,
stop
like,
it.
the
Please
dreads
stop walking through me.
Yeah, the dreads no karate, which is scary, and the tanks.
Gladius is no karate.
I mean, whatever. I mean, like, you know, I imagine that's like the pilot gets out and gives you the hands. But the dreads fucking you up while your vehicles just get like domed at range is rough. Because like Gladius shoots tank with no invul, and it's usually like, goodbye, my friend. Good night, sweet prince.
And now if at any point you shoot that Gladius and just take a wound off of it, now it's just re-rolling its hits.
Yeah, that's rude too. But like, yeah, it was super funny. Like the one time I've seen that game played, it was into Space Marines, and the like Ballistus shoots out, takes down small dreadnought. Caladius shoots back, kills Ballistus. It's just like you only get so many interactions like that before you're like very far behind on material. Now, leveraging that into a game that is won by, you know, management of the ground circles and scoring of the random chores, not necessarily a thing custodians are going to be able to do, but as terms of just like, you know, Friday night at the local, you barely know how to play, mashing your armies together like toy soldiers, custodians are going to be real good at that.
Here's 11 dreadnoughts. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, as always, dead models don't have OC, so...
That is true.
And dead models also struggle at doing jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have to make sure you're on the objectives to stop the bad guys, but whatever, you know, that's some nuance that I don't expect custodians players to understand.
No, my game was against Nas, so he definitely doesn't understand nuance.
Yeah, see? Perfect example.
Yeah, 100%. As for myself, what have I done? I don't feel like I've done much for 40k. I'm in that lull zone where nobody wants to talk about Warhammer with me right now. So, just like, been sitting at home. I read the new Brandon Sanderson book in a day and a half.
Dude, I just finished Rhythm of War like yesterday.
Nice.
So I'll be.
You are not far behind.
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, I've been going slowly and steadily through, and now I'll get to the next one. Ganyo got me onto the series, so.
Nice. Yeah, no, I blitzed through Win and Truth in. Yeah, it arrived at like 2 p.m. on Thursday, and it was done by dinner time Friday.
Gas.
I was like, yeah, cool. Blitzed through that. What else have I done? I'm prepping up for a team event this weekend. I'm doing we're taking the North Atlantic Tabletop Association, which is myself, Brian Sipe, Chris Irvine, Tom Lohman, and Alex Sacco, to a team event in Scotland, which is gonna be good
Nice.
fun. So yeah, we're showing up for that. If the data slate comes out exactly tomorrow, it was today or tomorrow, we're resubmitting lists. So I'm very hopeful, but we'll see.
Spooky.
Are you also using any detachments that are released
We're
up till
not using
tomorrow?
any of the detachments, no, just the data slate.
Boo.
I refuse to give Necron players the time of day.
I mean,
Just on
Fair.
principle. So yeah, it should be interesting. Other than that, yeah, not really done a ton. I played like a ton of Warhammer since I've not been working much this week. I like went up to the store on Thursday, played a bunch of TTS, played some other practice games. I played like 10 games in the past 10 days, kind of thing. It's been
Look at
good.
you.
Playing a lot.
Solid.
It's been good fun. Got the chance to put I put Flyable Host on the table, I put Deathwatch on the table, I put Starshatter on the table, played against the new AdMech, like played against a bunch of the stuff, and just having a really good time with it. Yeah, number of kill teams were standout. The Thief of Secrets captain, like just one punch, one shot. His unit like walked forward. The one multi-melta shot a Death Guard character to death. The bolt rifle shot 2 bolt rifles on the left, shot another one, and then he charged in and one shot a Plague Burst Crawler. And I was like, this is what I'm here for. Yeah.
yeah, that's gas.
12-4-4 is a hell of a profile on a random character.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
Yeah, no, it was really good fun. I had a really good time with that. And then I got the pure glory of doing getting the full Poxwalker Stank Shock off. The unit like walked forward off my home objective towards the middle, rolled a charge into a solo 1 wound canoness that was on the middle objective, rolled a 4, makes the charge. Not interested. It's turn 5. We got things to do. Reroll the charge into a double 6, slingshot my Poxwalker squad 12 inches past the canoness, going from like 8 away one side to 7 away the other side. Surround her with 8 Poxwalkers. 1 more wound. She's on 1 wound. Dies. 6-inch pilot consolidation. Let's go and wrap that immolator that's on the natural expansion objective on the other side of the board. Poxwalker unit moved 28 inches.
That's fast. That pile-in and console strat is good. I don't know if it's good enough to make Death Guard worth using, but it is good.
No, but it certainly did make them a lot more. It felt like I was playing real Warhammer with Death Guard.
It made
which
them
is not
actually
really
a
experienced.
dynamic army.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Now,
huge.
The only
Playing
reason
real
that
Warhammer?
the only reason that needed to happen is that my Death Strike squad got one shot by the full buff sword canoness. She went in with 10 attacks and dev wounds and executed 6 deaths round. But
Yeah.
yeah, I put 7 wounds on her. She lived at 1 and then killed the squad back at full power through the -1 damage because she's damage 4, of course.
You understand? Yeah.
It was just like, didn't like that very much.
Nope.
But more at that point, Mortarion was on his home objective, so it was fine. Yeah, do strongly recommend. It was a good time. I really, really do think Flablon Host was great fun.
You just
Death
reminded me of...
Watch, I'd give a reasonable rating. Starshatter was stupid. My poor AdMech opponent had a really bad time when I informed him that his Cataphron Breaches were being hit and wounded on 2s rolling by the Doomsday Arc.
Yay.
And that he gets a 6-up save against them. Sorry, Bruce, if you're listening.
It's crazy how good that list is when you're not just a complete greed lord with it.
Yeah, no, I basically played your list with like a couple minor tweaks in the scoring package,
Sure.
and had a good time with it. Like I wanted like 2 Flayed 1 squads because I found them really good for just like be the thing that charges onto the objective on early turns, which was nice. But
I mean,
yeah.
someone's got to do that job.
Exactly. I hated having the -1 damage on the Scorpic Lord as well. That felt awkward. But
I did not do that.
where did you have it on? Your list didn't have enhancement, so I just kind of YOLO.
Oh, sorry. Fall back and shoot was on the Scorpic Lord. -1 damage on the hex mark.
That's fair. I switched it up because I felt like I was more. If I was getting tagged up, I would rather have the fallback and shoot than the -1 damage. But
No, the trick is that you're only going to get tagged for a turn because the army's fucked up, right? So you, like, on the way in with the Scorpic Lord are like, you there! Be gone and shoot! And then you go and charge whatever that was. And then your Hexmark just does this shit behind the Silent King and tells him to be -1 damage.
that's fair.
Yeah.
I could see either way being fine, but yeah, no, that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I just went with this one seems fine. -1 damage on the way through, and then they'll be tabled afterwards. I don't need -1 damage, but I need to score. Was kind of what I went with.
Right? Yeah, the
I feel like you couldn't really get it wrong, if we're being honest. Like, does it matter?
I mean, you definitely can get it wrong. So, for context, I will say this in the public sphere. I have seen Starshatter lose or draw significantly more games than I have seen it win. That said, all of those lists were like the greediest shit you've ever seen in your life. Just like maximum point divided by gun, no thought to scoring, like early shit.
Yeah, I don't.
So
need
that'll
melee.
probably
If I
change.
Put Terraforms behind a wall. I don't want any part of interacting with that. That kind of Necron list. Yeah. I love that shit.
Yeah, and like, you know, there's probably better ways to do that.
Don't build like that.
Yeah. Don't lose the game to ruins being present on the table. It's not, you know, like any of the ETCs. Be list building like an adult.
Yeah.
Never.
It is really funny watching people go, oh, I'm going to play 3 Doomsday Arcs and 3 Doom Scythes and 3 Canoptic Doomstalkers. And you're just like, bro.
Dude,
What do you have left after that?
Dude, King, 3 DDAs. Stop. I don't think you need, like, literally any other guns.
It's not, you can play like some of the other ones as like fast tradey pieces, right? Like you can put in
Sure,
the Annihilation
yeah, the
Barges and
Annihilation Barges are
Darkstalkers.
great.
They're cheap and they're not like, you're not putting Doomstalkers in more stuff in your castle, right? You don't need more castle stuff. You need expansion pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will do a very quick shout out if anybody wants to hear a bunch more thoughts on the day 1 to 8 detachment stuff. I did a full detachment review for all of them, which you can find on the YouTube channel. I'm not putting a link in the description. It's on the YouTube channel. Click the button, and you can hear my thoughts on all of them, a sample list, some good ideas of detachments. Obviously, none of the lists are perfect because we've had these for a week. Give it some time. But if you're looking for a starting point or you want to kind of know what to be looking at for them, there is a place to go. With that said, Nathan, I think it is time to do the statsy bit for the week.
The stats, much like my camera, have not changed. No.
I mean,
Look, Nathan is just living like Echo in that one scene in Arcane and going at 4 frames a second.
Just don't use the visuals. It's fine. Just don't look at Anthony or look at Jeremy. That's all you should look at.
Just don't look at Ennis.
Wow.
Slammed. Absolutely wrecked. Unsure if lagged and missed one, but much funnier.
We can just lean into it instead. Just watch Anthony because he will be the most expressive of all of us as I talk through these.
That's not always true.
yeah, sometimes I have emotions.
Most of the time. True. Sometimes we all have emotions. Jeez.
Yeah.
Like when
All right.
like when you're about to read the top number from this week.
Citation
Yeah,
needed.
the number. Inez, put your camera back on. So
No,
everybody can
you
see
said
your
not to look at
shoot.
me.
Fine. All right. While Innis throws a tantrum in the corner, Gene Stealer Colts are the best faction in the game currently.
What?
And from this last week, they had 16 players making up almost 3%, 3% of the meta. Had a 71% win rate.
Yeah.
That's they did it.
All I'm saying is, guys, 2% more before the data slate, and we can invert what it was when I first started playing them.
Yo, that's,
Yeah.
wins,
that's wild.
6 top 4s, 9 top 10s, and a 4.25 over rep.
Jesus fucking
You
Christ.
fucking monsters! Just that is so many. That is. We're getting back to Harlequin numbers, and I'm kind of amused by it, but also terrified because that's 3% of the meta, guys. Stop that.
That
I'm
is
so fucking proud of you guys.
All right.
Just for what it means, that means they're
Now,
taking
Nathan, look at number
12% of
2.
top fours.
Oh, we're gonna get to number 2. Number 2 is Imperial Agents.
what?
They had 5 players, so they made up less than a 1% of the meta, but they had a 58% win rate. They had a top 4, which is one of their 2 top 10s, and they had a 2.27 over rep. I want to know who did that and why. Why and how. Who, why, what, when.
It was
how.
Imperialist Fleet. I think it was a smaller GT.
It's always
Well,
Imperialist fleet. That's the only army. Actually, that's not entirely true. The other 3 detachments have been played once each, and the other 50 agents players so far this season have been Imperialist fleet.
I'm probably going to play an RTT with the goddamn sniper.
Play the agents one, or the assassin one. It's
That's
so
probably,
funny.
I'm going to try for an RTT. I think
I'm
if I can
definitely
get
going
them
to
sourced.
I'm definitely going to play the Assassin one at an RTT locally just for funsies.
I'm
It'll be
mostly
the
just
only
thinking
RTT
about how
I'll do
much
locally.
how much I can inflict on my locals.
That's fair.
It's actually quite a bit with that one. The surprise Khalida showing up out of nowhere is terrifying.
Dude, it must be nice. I have to like try like real hard when I go to my local stuff.
Yeah. So it was actually Russia. Alexander Zalonkin, with Imperial agents, Imperialist fleet, finished 2nd at his GT.
Oh.
I think he was undefeated as well.
I don't think so because there are only 32 players, but I can check real quick.
That's fair. It might have been 4 in a draw. I can't
Meanwhile,
off the top of my head.
while Jeremy checks that, 3rd place is Astra Militarum. Technically 2nd place because they had more than 10 players, with 44 players making up 7.5% of the meta and a 57.1% win rate. 3 event wins, 9 top 4s, 18 top 10s for a 2.32 over rep. Also, a problem.
Yeah, that's not good.
You can't make up nearly 8% of the meta and have that kind of win rate and over rep. But don't worry, the Necrons are also
Yeah, 4
here
wins and
for
a draw.
you.
Yeah, 4 wins and a draw. That is hilarious.
Impressive. Necrons are in 4th with 31 players, 5.3% of the meta. A 57% win rate. They won an event, top 4 at 4 events, and had 11 top 10s for 1.46. I'm assuming that will go up.
Necrons are good. It turns
They've been
out.
good in
They've
all
been good
edition.
The entire edition.
They've never dropped, I think, out of A tier the whole edition. They've just sat in A tier the whole time.
I mean, they just have very good data sheets.
Yep. And their codex made their data sheets, for the most part, better.
And
I
the thing
like-
that everybody's like, I'm going to do with primary playing. Necrons just do it on their data sheets too.
That's true.
Shenanigans. I hate it.
All right. And then Tau are the 5th place army. 25 players, 4.2% of the meta, a 56.3% win rate, 1 event win, 3 top 4s, 8 top 10s, and a 1.36 for over rep. The bottom 5 is a colorful bunch. Adeptus Mechanicus were the worst faction of the weekend. 7 players, so only 2 more than Imperial Agents. So maybe Adeptus Mechanicus also aren't a real faction.
Equally
32
fake.
32.4% win rate and 1 top 10. So they have a 0 for over rep. In 2nd, from the bottom, is Grey Knights. 24 players, 4.1% of the meta, a 36.8% win rate, and a
That's
single
actually a
top 4.
substantial number.
GK are pretty good too. That's like crazy.
In 3rd, from the bottom, is Drukari, also with 7 players. Like
What?
40.3% win rate.
Oh.
Chaos Space Marines are 4th from the bottom. 33 players and a 42.5%
How?
win rate and a single top 4.
What even is this meta?
That's
And then
wild.
I promise you, it's going to get so much worse when we start looking at the patch in review, Anthony. So give it a sec.
fifth
Yeah.
from the bottom is Eldari.
Good.
They're 42.1% win rate, a single top 4 and 6 top 10s.
No, that was
Did the
CSM's top 4.
Oh, that was CM. Sorry. Oops.
Eldari
Two
had
top
0.
10s, two top 10s for Eldari, and that's it. I misread the cells.
Did the CSM win rate start with a 3?
Yes.
Yes.
No, 42%.
No, it's 42.1.
Okay.
Yeah, it was only AdMech that were in the 30s.
Great Knights too.
Great.
No,
Night.
Great Knights as well. Jesus.
Yeah, that top 4 is one of my losses from this weekend. It was Antoine who won Best Painted, and super nice guy. You can go watch the stream game of the two of us playing, and me just playing like a baboon.
Our other
sad.
GT winners from the weekend are Chaos Knights, who won a single GT with a 51.4% win rate. Tyranids won 2 events with a 49% win rate. One of those was with the new detachment, which is funny and is amazing. World Leaders won an event with a 46.9% win rate. And then Orcs won an event with a 46.1% win rate. Yeah. I don't know. It's funny to see Eldar in the bottom 5. Every time I see that, it is a little amusing.
It
Given
does
how
make
we
me
started
happy
this
every
edition.
time I see it.
I think it makes everyone a little happy.
Yeah, it's pretty
I won't
exciting. That army sucks.
Well, they do get a new codex with a bunch of new Phoenix Lords in just a second. So
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure they'll be perfectly fine.
So
My last gate
everything will
on
be
like
fine.
the fight against me being an Eldar player was always that their models were like old and looked like shit. And
Not anymore.
Look, maybe they'll still look bad when I see them in person. We'll see.
But will they?
What? Fucking,
We'll find out. I mean, everything's going to change soon anyways, right? We have a bunch more detachments. We have a balanced data slate. And eventually, everything's going to get up, just thrown into the air regardless of the situation. But
Yep.
we have a meta to overview, I suppose. So why don't
Yeah.
we get into overviewing our meta?
For anybody who's not seen these before, we're going to do a rundown of how things have been for the past couple of months. So we're going to be going through all the stats, seeing what's been on top, what's been on the bottom. At the very end of it, we'll go through a general overview of where we thought things were going to go after the balance data slate. This is based on the review that Jeremy and I did just when it came out. And then we'll be going through and we'll be tiering everything again, ready for when the balance data slate drops, hopefully in the next week or so. So with that beginning, we have the Pariah Nexus. It's Pariah Nexus 1.2 in our data, but it's such an unoriginal name that I have given it my own.
Oh, we have a name in the dashboard.
This one's way better.
Oh.
That one is so good. Just so good.
For the podcast
Can
listeners,
you read
it
that?
is Pariah Carey.
By the numbers. And there's a little Santa hat in the corner.
I do love the
A
Santa
little
hat on the
Santa
icon.
hat. For the rest of December, our logo for our big one needs to be a little Santa hat, I think.
I only put it on this slide. I didn't put it on all of them.
God damn it, Innis.
Boo.
God damn it. Boo. All right.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay, so Pariah Carey by the numbers. Here we have our top 5 by win rate for the entire metagame of Pariah Nexus 1.2. We have Death Guard in 5th place with a 52.5% win rate. We have Chaos Demons in 4th with a 53.5% win rate. Leagues of Votan in 3rd with a 54.7% win rate, just to confirm that the Germans were right all along. And then we have Ashram Motorum with, I think I have 52.4 written down here, but that is definitely wrong, and I think I transposed a digit there, and it should be 54.2.
I think it's actually 55.4, but
Yeah, that sounds right. 55.4 is... No, it should be 54.0. There we go. I'm bad at numbers. Oh, I don't trust my numbers now.
It's 54.0, yeah.
54.0, cool. Ignore the numbers.
yeah,
for these
and
ones.
Votan should be
Yeah,
53.2.
I think I copied something over here. Ignore this one. I think this slide is the only one that has this issue. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
So Votan,
The Gene Stealer
yeah.
cult number's right.
Gene Stealer cult number is
It
right.
is
Yeah.
the Gene Stealer
So
cult number.
League of Votan with 53.2, and then we have Gene Stealer cults with 62.2% win rate across the patch, which is too high, guys.
That is a big number.
Too much.
Make it go away.
Just make them use fucking ambush tokens. There's strats for them in the index, in the fucking detachments. Just make them use them again.
Nah, I think
Fuck.
it's
Honestly, that's
I
not the
prefer
only
it.
problem with them.
That is the only problem. You would fix them immediately, from a win
No.
rate perspective at least, if you did that.
I don't think you would.
And they're in the order that I read them out in. That's why they're in that order. So Get out of the way with that. All right. In the bottom 5 for win rate, we have in 5th from the bottom, Orcs with a 46.7% win rate. In 4th from the bottom, we have Dark Angels, which just... yeah, with a
Bring back my Deathwing Knights.
6% win rate. Every month, the stats go out there just to prove that we don't actually understand anything about how 40k works and is played at the top at the competitive level.
At a level, that's for sure.
Yep. We also have generic Space Marines tied at the bottom with a 3rd from the bottom with a 45.6% win rate. In 2nd from the bottom, we have Imperial Agents with a 44.8% win rate. And in last place, lower than Agents, we have Grey Knights with a 44.2% win rate, while making up 2.7% of the player base, having 2 event wins and 2 top 9s. Yeah, I don't really know.
I mean, if
you
you
can't
if you
miss a
pretend
Demos
agents
out.
aren't real, then what you've just showed us, there are only 2 armies that actually sit outside of the window that GW has been talking about.
Yeah, Grey Knights and Genestealer Cults.
Yep.
The 2 armies that desperately need changes, apparently.
I don't think Grey Knights need changes.
Apparently they do. Maybe they just need Genestealer Cult to die.
I mean,
Very slight changes.
The new detachment for them is quite good, right?
It seems pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah.
It does have
People
way
are
more
people are
strategies,
complaining about the
but-
lack of armor contempt and the lack of, or true silver armor, or whatever it's called, and the lack of the 3-inch, but I don't think that's a problem. Or as much of a problem as they think it is, because the
thing
output from
is-
that new detachment is wild.
Grey Knight players are really, really bad for being like, and then my 17 CP combo that I will be executing on turn 2, and now they don't have any strats to spend it on. So Grey Knight players will be like forced to learn how to play the game, and I think that might be good for them.
That is likely. I mean, it certainly
And
can't
also,
be
it's a
bad.
better detachment rule than you flat advance 6.
It generally is, yes.
Flat advance. Oh, you get
That's what their
fly.
detachment rule is. That
You get-
when you advance,
get
you move
fly
6 and you
rock.
fly. That's it.
Dude, that's a pretty good rule. Like, when you have
When
a data
only one
sheet,
data
that-
sheet in your army can advance, shoot, or charge, it's not that great.
I mean, many data sheets can advance and shoot. You have a strategy
There's an
for
assault
that.
stratagem, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen people use that like twice ever.
yeah, I've never seen it, so
I've never seen it used to shoot. I did see it get used to action a lot back in the day.
That's also true. All right, now we have the overrep, which is just horrific.
what the
That
fuck is this?
Genestealer Cult number is so funny. I love it.
So
Everything
Necrons
about
have
it.
a 1.25 times overrep. Imperial Agents and Death Guard are joint 4th at 1.31. In 3rd place, we have Adeptus Sororitas with a 1.41. In 2nd place, we have Astra Militarum with a 1.45. And in 1st place, we have Genestealer Cults with a 2.66 overrep.
That's a big
Dennis, look at
number.
the problem you have wrought. Look what
Anytime
you've done.
someone
It wasn't
asks me what a problematic overrep is, I say anything above 1.4 or below 0.6. That's when you start running into there might be an issue here. We are so far past that with Cult.
Dude,
It's just-
so bad.
It's so funny because it's like, again, it's so obvious what the problem was. Like, they didn't do anything, and then they were like, by the way, you know the one restriction on you having 3,000 points a game? Yeah, fuck it. And then the army broke and exploded.
The thing is, Anthony, is that happened before WTC and no one took them.
We didn't know. No one tried. I don't know what your
Dennis tried.
Your great
Tried
Eastern
one game.
European contingent did. But mine, we just were like, we don't have time to test this, and just let it go into the sun.
You and us and
Everything.
every other country did that. So
Yeah.
there was what?
Dude, what
No
could have been?
GSC at WCC at
None,
all?
not a single one. I don't like it. Yeah,
Didn't
the number
Eric
was
already have
said,
the
it's
list ready
200 I had Eric's list but so I've told the story before, I think on the show, but I asked Eric for his Outlander Claw list, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, it's sick," and then didn't send me it. And then I asked him like a week later, "Hey, Eric, what's your list?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll get it to you." And then a week later, I was now like, "Eric, I've played like 30 games of Tyranids since we spoke about this. I'm not changing lists now a week before submission because you sent me your list."
Yep. So we didn't know. And that is the entire thing.
Yep.
I-
And then, because it happened we discovered it so late, they then got buffed, and now chaos.
Wasn't that buff like giga marginal? It was like some
It was,
points.
like,
You got like a
70
unit of
points.
acolytes out of the buff, I think, which is substantial.
It was a
No.
lot more for Biosanctic because Biosanctic got 15 points on every aberrant unit.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
They got like an extra fucking 2 acolyte units. I don't fucking.
That makes a
It's a
difference.
decent amount.
It does falling
When it-
out of the
when it
sky
compounds.
wherever you want for free is a much bigger deal than 2 5-man
Yes, but
guardsman
Anthony,
squads.
that does require you to actually come back first.
Yeah, dude, I cannot relate. I think there's like evidence of me succeeding maybe 20 of those in 35 games. So
Yeah.
I-
Ennis did
70.
perfectly fine in the games. Well, perfectly fine. He did exceptionally well, even in the games where he didn't get anything back at Champs Cup, I'll remind you.
Yeah, the army
I-
is strong without it, and then it has on top of that.
I feel like I've only ever heard GSC players say that, for what it's worth.
I don't play
Say what?
GC.
Be like, that's fine, you know, even if it doesn't come
I'm
back.
not saying that it's
not a
fine.
big-
I'm
it's
saying
not a
that that's
big
not the
deal.
core issue. I think that they actually have other fundamental
I'm
issues that need to be
definitely sitting
addressed.
here being like, the army is strong even if you get almost nothing back, and the fact that you get stuff back on top of that is what's creating the problem.
Yeah.
Right, like to this level. If it was just a strong army, you would at least, because the problem with Gene Circle is there's no surety in how you play around them. You can't overcommit to an aberrant squad to make it dead because it's in a good position for you. Because if you do and it comes back and you're now overextended, you just lose. So you have to undercommit, and then things go wrong very easily, and that the problem compounds because you have no certainty. For the Gene Circle player, I'm going in assuming I get nothing back, and everything I get back is just like I'm building a plan for nothing coming back, and then when anything comes back, it's like great, free candy, right? Like it's not like I would be perfectly happy winning a lot of my games with this army without the cult ambush mechanic because I can't rely on it. So I play as if it doesn't exist, and then if it does have them come back, I'm like, sweet, I don't have to try for my secondaries this game. That's kind of how it is for me, which is very, 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 very clearly bullshit broken. So
Yeah, it's nonsense. The army's stupid.
yes, it is. I thank you so much for the 35-2 win rate over the course of the last 6 tournaments. Gene Circle.
Losing
Really
to.
appreciate that.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, dude, that fucking linchpin. Both losses were in linchpin, actually. So,
Yeah.
all right, now we have event wins, which Gene Circle did not top.
Yeah,
This is-
but-
not at the top. Just second.
Don't
This
worry
is-
about
It's
it.
It's fine. Just ignore the fact that it's only 2 less than an army with 3
Dude, this is-
players.
2.5 times the meta
This-
representation in it.
This is insane to look at. So this is what, the top 6?
It's
7?
technically the
8?
top 8 because I was going to do
Oh.
the top 5, but then 4th place was tied with 5 armies. And I was like, I'm not putting the
If-
4 winning armies on this as well.
Dude, if you put 3 of those together that are tied in 4th, they just fucking barely equal. They're slightly higher than GSC and lower than Astra. What?
So, for anybody who's listening along at home, in tied 4th place, we have Dark Angels, Death Guard, Tyranids, World Eaters, and Orcs, all with 5 wins apiece. Which, when you look back at the win rate stat for Orcs being like 44%, is kind of wild.
Yeah, Dark Angels at 45. Like, all of them are just
yeah.
kind of like, huh.
Very clearly, the good players and the weaker players are doing crazy things relative to each other. In 3rd place, we have Necrons with 6. And then in 2nd place, we have Gene Stealer Cult with 14. And in 1st place, we have Astra Militarum with 16. Now, for reference, we have 109 games in our dataset. Combined, Astra Militarum and Gene Stealer Cult make up almost 30% of the event wins in this pack,
That's cool.
while being 10%
Nice.
of the metagame.
Nice.
Good job.
It is certainly a game state that we are existing in right now. Like, the numbers say that Guard are doing very, very well. They are very clearly the second best army in the game right now. But Gene Stealer Cult are blowing them out of the water. It is absurd how much better this army is performing at the top level with a smaller player base.
Yeah, I mean, because you can't do anything against GSC when it hits the go. You're just stood there, like, okay.
You're just in the path of an oncoming freight train and hoping that the freight train breaks down. Like, it's not
Yeah.
a reliable plan. Yeah.
Your keyboard's very loud, Jeremy.
Sorry, forgot about that.
It's okay.
Yeah. Imagine losing a game with Gene Circle in the current patch. Anthony, how did that feel to do? How did it feel to beat Gene Circle?
To beat Gene Stealer
Yeah, you
Cult?
beat Gene Circle at Cali Cup.
Yeah, narrowly.
Did it?
It was-
Means you're basically a god by these stats.
Yeah, apparently I'm God's gift to Blood Angels.
Well, no, we had 50%, right?
I don't know. It felt fine. It was very challenging, and I had to breathe heavily for a lot of it. And I don't know. Floof's army's crazy, right? Like that's playing against Host is you just have no agency at all. You're just like wait, and then like you look around when the smoke clears, and you're like, okay, some of us lived, and then you just try and kill and tag as many as you can. Blood Angels have the attack volume to go through a lot of that.
For sure. All right, now we have the most depressing slide for me.
What?
Oh,
No,
no.
it gets worse. Oh, that's fine. These is okay.
I do love that it's AdMech and
Admech
Imperial
and
Agents.
Imperial Agents are the only two armies in the dataset to register no GT wins, no GT plus size wins in this tournament pack.
I mean, they're both like hyper expensive, hyper niche armies. I don't think that it's like that crazy.
Pulling up
Well,
second to
Imperial
last
Agents
place,
also
we have
still
a-
isn't a real army, despite them winning 56% of their games this weekend.
I mean, like if you actually just get all the shit together and make an army out of it, it's pretty real. It's just like not, there's no legacy player base there, right?
Yeah, Deathwatch players are all sulking instead of playing, I guess, until next
Well,
week.
now they're playing fucking Index army.
Space Marines, yeah. All right, so in second place for event wins, or second to last place, we have all the armies on 2, which was Drakari, Thousand Suns, Black Templars, Blood Angels, Grey Knights, Imperial Knights, and Leagues of Votan, all with 2 apiece.
I am still amazed that Blood Angels just can't convert.
It's hard. That army is like very good in a way that is very difficult to translate into consistency.
Yeah, it has a Blood Angels have a 0.87 overrep across the dataset.
Yeah, it's tough. Like
And hilariously, they have very, very few like top 10s, and
Yeah,
I guess it was comparatively. They have like 48 top 10s, but only 2 event wins. And
it's rough, dude. You have to
19
like
top 4s, but only 2 event wins. Right? Like if I'm looking at the data set in terms of event wins, you go from Blood Angels have 19 top 4s. The army you have to go up to is you have to go up to Tau, who have twice as many event wins at 20, to have another army that has as many as 19 top 4s. They're just the worst army in like the bottom. They're the army in the bottom half that is the best at putting up good performances but
podium.
not winning the event.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have very quick math, like a 1 to 10 ratio of event wins to top 4s, which is the worst of any army in the data set, excepting the armies that don't have an event win.
Rough.
The best ratio is Gene Stealer Cults, unsurprisingly, I think, with a 14 event wins for 33 top 4s, which is roughly 30%, something in that region. So, yeah, doing pretty well. All right, and then we have the last slide from this section, which is going to be having a look at our tier list from last time, which is how goes our predictions. So for this one, you can have where they were ranked in our previous tier list across the left-hand side here. I don't know, can you guys see my cursor there, or am I just pointing at the blank screen? That's going to be a no. There we go. Here.
Yeah.
We can see it, or we could see
We
it.
have, so we have the tiers that each army was in. We have in the bottom right of each one, you can see our prediction of whether it would go up, down, or stay the same. And then you have their current win rates. So just kind of running through some highlights. Every army that we had in the current S tier took at least a reasonable drop. I think Thousand Suns mostly stayed about where they were because they didn't have the best win rate going into it. But every other army in the top has definitely dropped at least a little bit. Guard, I think we all kind of felt was going to go up. I think they stayed about the same. I think they had like a 55% win in the previous data set. Admech actually dropped. Blood Angels dropped pretty significantly. They were sitting at like 54 before. Black Templars dropped, actually went up a little bit, I think. Necrons came down a little, and then kind of looking through the rest. World Eaters actually didn't drop almost at all. Dark Angels came down
Perfectly
quite a
balanced
lot.
army.
CSM down a little bit. Looking around the bottom set, we predicted Orcs to get better. Nope, they got worse. Space Marines went up like 1%. Eldar didn't change. Tau didn't change. Gene Cult rose with like the fate of Icarus beneath in front of them.
So fast they'll fall afterwards, too.
Yeah, and demons continue to perplex the world with a 52.6% win rate. So if you want to have a look and stop and pause this and have a look at where every army is racking up at the moment, this is every army's win rate at the moment. I would say overall, I feel like we were pretty on the money for what was going to get worse, but not great on what was going to get better. A lot of the armies that we thought were going to get better just kind of didn't, either because they're still weak enough that there's just not a lot of player base behind them, or the buffs didn't matter in the face of the new Gene Stealer Cult Menace, which I think is also a decent part of it. in the sense that, like, yeah, it's great that you're better at playing orcs now, but you have to figure out how to play Gene Stealer Cult now, and you're just not going to do that as an orc player right now. So, and then the same thing with Guard, I think a little bit. But yeah, there was definitely a few. Like, predicting Gene Stealer Cult was going to get better off that data slate was maybe the easiest prediction StatCheck has ever made.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so that is going to be it for that section, and now we move on to preparing for the next balanced data set review that we'll be doing, which I need to hit the right buttons for. We're going to do Anthony's very favorite thing in Warhammer. Let's put the things on the places.
Now, Anthony, this is a stats-based one, so you can't get mad.
Yeah, Anthony, the only movement that we have on this is we can move stuff within tiers based on our personal feelings. There is no still putting things on the tier list based on personal
Why does
feelings.
the top one say 2+ and bottom 5?
Because I copy pasted it. Why do you think it said? Why do you think it would say that?
This is the key.
It doesn't. All right. Shall we? Do we want alphabetical order? How do we want to handle it? How do we want to do this, Nathan?
Let's do alphabetical order. Is probably the easiest without breaking everything.
All right. So we have Adeptus Sororitas up first.
Oh, it reminds me. I only sent that to you. I didn't send it to.
Yep, that's fine. Oh,
Nathan.
you don't send it to Nathan. Yeah,
I'm doing that. I'm doing it right now. Okay, I'm doing it right now. I'm sending it to. I'm putting it in our backstage. I'm sorry, but I can at least start it as I put that in there. I'm sorry. I'm not exactly human right now.
So while we're doing that, let me explain how this is going to work. So for each faction, we have pulled out our 3 overriding stats, which are overrepresentation in top 4s, event wins, and win rate. And we will be going through each faction and basically determining whether they are in the top 5 multiple times, in the top 5 once, in the top 10 multiple times, in the top 5 once, and then the same thing with the bottom 5. And factions will be placed in their tiers relative to how well they are doing in the overall metagame. So, for example, if an army was first in win rate, first in overrepresentation, and first event wins, it would be 2+ in top 5, and it would probably be towards the top of it. If it had 1 in top 5, 1 in top 10, it would be in the 1 in top 5, 2 in top 10 category. It should be 1 in top 5 or 2 in top 10. Like, it's not required both, but yeah. And then basically, you can kind of think of it as like being in the top 5 is worth +1 point, being in the, or top 5 is worth +2 points, being in the top 10 is worth +1 point, and then bottom 10 and bottom 5 are worth the inverse, and they'll cancel each other out. So if you're in the top 10 in one category, the bottom 10 in one category, and then in the middle in another, then you'll be in the middle category because you'll have 1 in top 10, 1 in bottom 10, and it'll cancel out. And that's how we do it here. So without further ado, Nathan, have you got the stats open? And is Anthony still mad at us?
I do have the stats open now.
You want to go back and forth with Nathan?
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Cool. So Adeptus Sororitas.
Oh, I'll start. Okay. Adeptus Sororitas have 1 top. We're doing great. We probably 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s.
So 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s. Adeptus Sororitas. So that puts them here.
Mm-hmm.
Our 10th for win rate, 3rd for overrep, and oh man,
10th for event wins.
Yeah, there it is. 10th for event
Strong
wins. I was trying to parse what EW was for a second, and my brain wasn't having a good time with it.
It's how
like,
gross Jeremy thinks they
What's
are.
What's this new metric
this ew
that
rank?
Jeremy has decided? Yeah, what's this ew rank?
Yeah, it's how gross Jeremy thinks they are.
They're the 10th.
It is true. I mean, the Guard are the number 1 in that one. So
See?
Fair.
Spoilers. Come on, guys. You gotta keep people on the hook so they stick
we
around for
knew
the
that.
entire
We
video.
saw it like 5 minutes ago.
Look, I assume that everybody on our show has a really short attention span.
True.
That's just the internet in us. The internet has a
exactly.
short attention span.
We should be chopping this up for TikTok shorts. That's what I'm taking from that statement.
Yeah, you enjoy doing that.
We should create just a billion of them.
Exactly.
All
Just the entire episode in TikTok shorts. That's what the internet really needs.
That's what the
Gustavo, I'm not sure if you're being serious or not, so I'm just going to let that ride.
All right, we're gonna go with Custodes next, Jeremy.
Sorry. They have nothing in any of the categories. They are
They're 0.
they're 11th in win rate, 14th in event wins, and 14th in overrep.
All right, listen.
They're right in the middle. Perfect. Perfect in every
No top
way.
5s, no bottom 5s, no top 10s, no bottom 10s.
They are
man.
Malcolm.
They are
Yep.
Malcolm.
Custodes are the perfect. I think Custodes Anthony and I have been saying on the show for months are the perfect example of what faction abandonment does to a motherfucker.
Yeah. They're perfectly acceptable in terms of power. They are boring as fuck to play. They are boring as fuck to play against. No one has fun in a Custodes game. It's like a Thousand Suns game.
The Custodes player has fun.
I doubt that.
Sometimes, based on the amount of whining I've seen in
Most
most Custodes,
so long as the Custodes players are
Discords
rolling
and
75% of their
players.
4-ups, they're having a good time.
That's not. Yeah.
I don't think that's actually true. I think they need at least 80% before they're feeling comfortable.
Yeah, fair. They do run to pretty high standards running in that gold. All right, next we've got AdMech. They are 20th for win rate, and 25th for event wins, tied with Imperial Agents at 0. And then they are 19th in overrep. So 2 in the bottom 10, 1 in the bottom 5.
It's pretty bad, AdMech. You should try harder.
Bad Mac.
Yep.
Ah.
Next up is Eldari. They are 18th in win rate, 10th in event win rank, and then 26th in overrep. So they have 1 top 10, 1 bottom 10, and 1 bottom 5.
So
the top and bottom 10 cancel each other out, and then there's a bottom 5.
Yep. And then next after that are Astra Militarum, who are 2nd in win rate, 1st in event win rate, and 2nd in overrep rank. So they have all 3 top 5s.
Fucking hell. All right. We've got Black Templars after this. They're
Bard are
21st.
really, really good, guys. I don't know. if anyone noticed.
They are really, really good. No, they're perfectly balanced. Don't worry about it.
Everything is fine.
Whoa, things just got resized. Black Templars, 21st in win rate, 18th in event wins, and 15th in overrep. So they're 2 in the bottom 10.
And it's just over here with his fingers crossed that Black Templar Ironstorm build makes it to WTC this year. Just like, no, it's going to be fine. No, it's going to be fine. They're bad.
Yeah,
they're bad.
they're
No one
terrible.
plays.
There are a lot of those moments where it's just like, yeah, but are they? We got our Blood Angels.
I love every time Ironstorm just gets to skate a little bit. It's great.
Yeah. Blood Angels are 9th in win rate, but 18th in event wins, and 16th in overrep. So 1 top 10, 1 bottom 10.
Blood Angels next to Custodes, where they belong in melee.
Chaos Demons are up next. They are 4th for win rate, 14th for event win rank, and 12th for overrep. So they have 1 top 5 and then nothing in anywhere else.
Causes me
Sure,
immense
man.
pain.
I don't understand what happens with demons. Every day it's late. We look at the demon stats, and I'm just like, yeah, man, they're definitely an army that exists.
This is just
It's definitely-
this is just what the stats say, folks. I have no stake in this. Just what the numbers are.
Chaos Knights are next. They are 17th by win rate, 14th by event win rank, and 7th in overrep. So they have 1 top 10 and 1 bottom 10.
This middle category is going to look so dumb at the end of
Puts
this.
them right in the
After
middle.
after last month's where nothing was in the middle, or last 2 months ago.
Yeah, it was
Like, it's
just
actually nice
it was
to
just
see
roll
something
leaders in the middle last time.
Yeah, last
so
time we had a halves and halves nots metagame. If this one we're gonna have a bit more of, like, what this is so far saying is we've got a bit more of a compressed metagame, which is better than what we had in some ways and worse in others. And
Yeah.
for the
So Chaos Space Marines is the first of the really funny ones. They are 14th in win rate, so it's fine. They are 5th in event wins, and they are 24th in overrep. 1 top 5, 1 bottom 5.
Fucking, I'm loving this so far. This is great.
All right,
We
Dark
want-
Angels, my beloved. Dark Angels are 23rd in win rate, but they're 3rd in event wins.
Marines.
And they are 17th in overrep, so they have 1 top 5, 1 bottom 5, 1 bottom 10.
they're fourth in event wins, right?
Uh,
Oh no, they're one of the 6s, aren't they? God damn.
Yeah, they are one of the 6s.
Yeah. Cool. So
Yeah,
where
they're
do we
tied
have
with
them?
Krons. 1 in bottom 10 because they have a top 5, a bottom 5, and a bottom 10.
Great. That's exactly where Dark Angels.
And then we
belong.
got Death Guard next, who are my surprise. They are 5th in win rank, 5th in event win rank, and 4th in overrep rank. 3 top 5s for Death Guard. Look at the stinky.
Death Guard next to Guard feels so wrong, but also the stats don't lie, right?
Correct. The stats
Look,
just
the
don't.
stats
lie.
are saying the
Tell a
Death Guard are
complete
really good
story.
right now, and it's all of yours fault that you're not winning with them, apparently.
100%.
All right, we got Drakari next. And yes, this does look like a tier list based on the smell of the models.
Are we alternating again? No. we
What is
have
this
done
with
every
business models?
two.
I'm very
Why are
confused.
you changing the pattern?
Because it's chaotic.
Fine. Do
long as
it.
I'm-
19th in win rate, 18th in event wins, 8th in over rep. So 1 top 10 and 2 bottom 10s. Right there next to our Dark Angels boys.
Fucking told you that army sucked.
Hey,
Then
hey,
they got
hey.
nerfed, and now it's even worse.
Yeah. Army's bad.
Next is Gene Stealer Cult. Just put them in the top already. It's fine.
Yeah.
First in
They're better
in
than
win
guard,
rate.
right? Like we're all
They're
comfortable with
second.
saying that one.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
No one's gonna get mad at me.
What's crazy is that like I don't think like most of the time even they're better than guard. But the way in which they are better than guard makes them much easier to play than guard. And you can't do shit when they hit the highs. So
13 units of avarice, baby.
I will
Yeah,
accept
John,
them
please
being
never
better
again.
than guard, even if I don't think in a world, in a vacuum, they necessarily are.
I can't imagine losing to guard with GC right now.
I mean, sure.
Next up is Grey Knights. They are 26th for win rate, which is the worst. 18th for event win rank, and 18th for over rep. They have 2 bottom 10s and a bottom 5.
Grey Knights are crazy. They might have the single largest gulf between how useful they are in teams and how good they are in singles.
All right.
They're certainly
Imperial
not useful in
agents.
singles, apparently.
This is the dumbest. This is again one of those really dumb things because of small sample sizes. There's only 30 players for this.
Oh, I'm gonna have to use a different. I'm gonna have to add agents separately because this is now gonna be not Deathwatch anymore. It's gonna be Deathwatch again.
Correct.
Oh yeah, we do have to do that. I guess they do have the codex cover, so we can use that. Yeah, so agents were 25th in win rate, better than Grey Knights. They were 26th for event wins, and 4th for over rep. So 1 top 5 and 2 bottom 5s.
Okay.
We're just going to keep going. Imperial Knights are 12th for win rate, 18th for event win rank,
I mean, technically they're like
20th for
here
over
and they're
rep.
top.
So there's 2 bottom 10s and a neutral. And then Leagues of Votan, the short lads, are next. They are 3rd for win rate, 18th for event win rank, and 25th for over rep. So they have 1 top 5, 1 bottom 10, 1 bottom 5. So they are in the 1 bottom 10 category.
Yeah,
because
next
the
to
top
Drukhari
5
and Dark
bottom 5
Angels.
offset.
All right, we've got Necrons next. They are 8th for win rate, 3rd for event wins, and 6th for over rep. So 1 top 5, 2 top
Cool.
10s.
Oh, I was very close to being in that top category.
The Necrons are still good. All right, we've got our Orcs then. They are 22nd in win rate, 5th in event wins, and 21st in over rep. So they have 1 top 5, 1 bottom 10, 1 bottom 5. So put them next to our lovely Short Kings and our Dark Elves.
Where are we going in the?
I don't care
Put them
where
above
any-
Drukhari because it makes people mad.
Yeah, I don't care where anything goes in this tier. Drukhari have to be last.
That's true.
Space Marines are up next. These are the generic Space Marines, the normalest of normal. 24th for win rate, 10th for event wins, 23rd for over rep. They have 1 top 10 and 2 bottom 5s.
All right, fuck it. They can have the project.
No,
Being
no,
the
no.
worst one.
They technically should be here, right? Like it bugs
Yep.
me, but
And then,
I mean,
we
they
have
should be the
Spa-
top of that if they're going to be anything. But yeah, I got it.
no,
Space
because
Wolves are
they're
No, I
two bottom
understand.
fives, right?
I'm just saying they're yeah.
Space Wolves are next. They are 15th for win rate, 14th for event win rank, and 22nd for over rep. They have essentially 2 neutrals and a bottom 5. Or
So they're also in that category is getting way too big.
Look, if the metagame is just everything shit except this stuff, I don't think that's necessarily wrong, guys.
That's
It's looking increasingly bottom heavy, is what it's
However-
looking.
so far that looks right.
We have the Tau Empire now with number 16 in terms of game win rate, 10th in terms of event wins, and 13th in terms of over rep. So they have 1 in the top 10. We finally have someone in that category.
Finally, that was starting
Also-
to bother.
Very specific congratulations to Donald Plummer winning a big event with them last weekend. Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Tower,
yeah.
the bridge between worlds.
That's true.
Hey, look, we've moved the dead zone up a tier from the middle to.
All right, we've got Thousand Suns next. Who? Interesting. They are 7th in win rate, 18th in event wins, and 9th in over rep. So 2 top 10s, 1 bottom 10. They're right next to Tau.
Better or worse?
better for sure.
I would say technically better.
They're just.
But-
I mean, like from a subjective
All right,
perspective.
last two
they're
for you,
just better
Nathan.
As well.
Tyranids are 6th in win rate, 5th in event win rank, and 9th in overrep. So they have 1 top 5, 2 top 10s.
Yeah, that
And
feels
then-
about right. I can live with that for Tyranids.
World Leaders are the last one. They are 13th for win rate, 5th for event wins, 9th for overrep. So they have 1 top 5, 1 top 10, and neutral. So they are 1 plus top 5, I suppose.
Yeah.
They're up there. Yep.
Worse than
That
demons.
is a hilarious breakdown. I love that bottom line. That bottom line is what? Space Wolves, Agents, Imperial Knights. I don't know what that icon actually is because my brain is fried. Admech.
IK, Admech, Eldar, BT, GK, generic
Regular Space
Marines.
I
But the
mean,
top
it's
three
nice
in
that we
the
put nothing
in our
trash there.
S tier being Death Guard, Astra Militarum, and Genius of the Cult. Death Guard's the only real surprise there, but it turns out they're just doing really well.
I mean, they go 3 and 2 like a motherfucker. I think that's this patch's Drukhari.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're also 5th in terms of event wins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they're
it's a 4-way tie for 5 event wins and a 100+ event data set. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's true. But they are also like reasonably doing well on like their conversion rate is yeah, if you're kind of looking at it, the thing that kind of like stands to me, right? Like if you're sitting next to Chaos Space Marines, right? They're sitting next to them in the data set. Death Guard have a 52.5% win rate compared to Chaos Space Marines 49. They both have 5 event wins, but Death Guard has twice as many top 4s and 21 more top 10s.
Yeah, but what's the 4-0 event start for each of them?
Do not think we have.
Dashboard hasn't been updated, so I don't actually know what that is right off the bat. But
Yeah.
if we look at just
Oh, that's going to show as a percentage of the group, and CSM's a larger play rate, right? So that's going to
no,
It's
the top
actually-
4 event start
there's only-
is the percentage of that group that starts 4-0. So it's actually a pretty good metric of that because it
But just like
normalizes
there's
for that.
17 more Chaos Space Marine players in the data set than Death Guard. They're both at roughly 5% of the metagame.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So like CSM has a 6% 4-0 start, while Death Guard have
Which
an
is
8% 4-0 start.
Yeah, and 6.25 is the expected value for
Yeah,
that.
so
CSM
if
are a little
anything,
bit
CSM
worse,
is
Death Guard
slightly
are a little better.
underperforming, and Death Guard are slightly overperforming.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
by
have
almost
an answer
every
for
single
that.
metric, Death Guard are just doing well.
I don't understand it. I do applaud them for it.
I mean, it turns out that when you make Death Shroud 220 points for 6, they're really annoying.
Dude, I hope they're everywhere. I hope there's nothing but that at this event. But
Yeah. So I think we're in an interesting metagame. Like it's definitely compared to if I flick, I'm not gonna flick back over because I'm gonna break everything if I try to. But compared to sort of like where we were at in the previous metagame, it's nice to see that we have nothing that is literally in the trash tier. The F tier has gotten a little bloated as a result, but it's a sign that even the weakest things are still doing like okay in some areas. They've still got like something compelling going on with them. They're still creating interesting problems and questions. Like I would say right now, I would be fairly happy playing Admech, Eldar, Black Templars, GK, regular Space Marines, or Space Wolves in a tournament right now. Like 5 of the six of the 7, 6 of the 8 in F tier. I would be like, if you were like you're gonna go play a GT with one of these armies, I would be like annoyed at that fact.
I mean, I am confident I could win a 5-rounder with the bottom 3 there.
Yeah, me
With
too.
Grey Knights, Black Templars, or regular Space Marines? Oh, easily.
Yeah. Especially in the context of the new GK detachment today. I might not be a good at Mists boy, but I could definitely scoot, boot, and boogie some NDKs with rerolls around my way to a 5-rounder.
Yeah, and I mean like
Because you
we've
still have the
seen-
up and down with them, right? Because that's their army.
Yeah,
rule.
that's their army rule, son.
It's always hard to look at Space Marines and not be like, come on though, right? Like, were they not just in the semifinals or the finals of Leicester?
Yeah, that
with,
army's
like
nuts.
Ultramarines got. It's like Space Marines are always just kind of like an aberration in this data set because
Dude,
the
the
numbers
Ultramarine
just never seem
character
to line up
suite
with.
is fucked. Like,
They have 4 of the best characters in the game. It's kind of insane.
yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I wonder when someone will start playing Tiggy, just to.
Just because you can. He's not even bad.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's not good, but he's not.
We had an
like-
Ultramarine player at our event running Kato.
Kato is
Kato's generally
good.
quite good.
Yeah.
Kato
Kato
and slamming the double reactive move in Gladius with Kato
Yeah.
is one of my favorite things
Dude,
to do.
Kato
It's
is
like I'm not here anymore.
Yeah, Kato is fucked up in Vanguard, dude.
Yeah, he was
I'm
playing
gonna
him
go
in
D6
Vanguard.
plus 6 away
There were
from
multiple
wherever
people
you
who got
tried.
very upset, and then he kept running into Death Guard, who were going like, "We don't care. We're just going to exist."
Death Guard should care about playing against Vanguard a lot, but I guess that can.
Vanguard have
be
the
bad.
the Vanguard has that like really awkward thing where it plays against indirect with battle shock mechanics, where it just like gets a little spooky that it doesn't love.
The 18 Shrouds don't normally also have PVCs, but I
They
hear
usually
ya.
don't.
Depend that build sometimes does. It depends on the direction.
Yeah.
But like playing against them with triple whirlwind was always good fun because you'd be like, you can arm break attempt or you can uppy downy. You pick one, and there's also a decent shot you battle shock if you're trying to do the uppy downy. That was always good fun. Exorcists kind of force the same problem in Sisters.
Yep.
Things like that. So, yeah. At some point, I will watermark this up and I will post it in the Discord. So if anybody wants to go and see it there, but we will be using this as our reference for when the balance state slate changes of whether we think the changes are good or bad for each army and how we think it will impact on them going forward. With that said, though, biggest surprises here for me. Demons being in A tier just confuses the ever living hell out of me because
At this
I have
point,
no
I'm just not
respect
even
for that army.
surprised.
I'm not surprised, but I still refuse to respect them.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just not going to, yeah.
That's it.
That said, in a meta full of guns, Bellicor Ore is pretty hot.
It is pretty good. I'd certainly watching Pumbaa like takes emotional damage off of it at Pariah was funny as well. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for the tier list. I think we're going to move on to show questions, which means it's probably time for me to do the plugs. Okay, everybody. If you are an hour and 11 minutes to the show, and there are 160 of you watching, so thank you for being with us today for the live show. I hope everybody's having a great time. If you are able to, please do leave a like, a comment, or a subscription on the YouTube channel or the podcast feed where you're on. Leave a review, any of that good stuff. It really helps us out with discoverability and being able to continue bringing you guys the content that you guys seem to be enjoying. There's a bunch of other stuff going up on the platform right now. We've got all of the various single content that I've been doing. We've got the other shows like End of the Matrix and Take All Comers and Champions of 40K. And if you want to hear more from any of them, do hit those buttons. And if you're in a position to support us and you would like to do a little bit more, you can check out Patreon or YouTube memberships at patreon.com/statcheck or the button in your box below. $5 a month gets you access to our Discord community, 5-check league, discount codes for a bunch of our sponsors, including the Red Dragon, and the ability to chat with us and see Anthony's list in advance and make fun of him for not playing Imatech or something. I don't know. You need more CP in your Starshatter, apparently. Just play the greediest version of it as possible so that I can beat you at LVO. That's what I'm really trying to get Necron players to do. Yeah, please do check out all of our sponsors. They are in the description below. That's J15 Games, Saltar Games, Red Dragon, and Wayland Yutani. You can find all the links and the relevant discount codes for them below. Thank you to all of our sponsors for continuing to help us bring the show. If you would like to get some help with the hopefully upcoming data slate or any of the new detachments, please do check out stat-check.com/coaching. You can work with, oh god, I hate doing this bit because I always feel like I'm going to get bullied if I leave someone out. Myself, Pumbaa, Nassim, Liam, Tyler, Nicholas, and Lucas are all in a position to be able to help you out with any of your 40k hobby needs and demands in terms of gaming. Please don't ask me for painting advice. Technically, you are allowed to. I just won't have any. If you would like to reach out to any of us, please drop us a message on Discord if you know us. If you're in the Statcheck Discord or anywhere else, it's a very, very busy time of year as we come up for that, and we are more than happy to help you on the way through that. With that said, we're going to go on to the show questions. As always, there are 3 ways to get your question answered on the show. One is to leave a comment in the Patreon show questions thread in the Discord, which you need to be a Patreon or YouTube member to access. So go and do that. Hit the button if you want to make sure you get your question. The other way is to leave a super chat on the YouTube channel. There has been a few people that have done that already, but mostly they're just laundering money through us and wishing you all a Merry Crankmas. So thank you to Tim and Ben for doing that. I don't know what Crankmas is, and at this point, I'm too scared to learn. But if they want to keep donating money so that we can find out, I will not say no. And lastly, there's the other way, which is to just ask a really good question, which I can't promise we'll answer, but if we have time, we will always come back to try to answer the best questions from the live feed. With that said, one of the other guys take it away because I need to drink some water before my voice dies.
All right. So, yeah, thanks again for the super chats, the $4.99 from Tim Penny for Happy Crankmas, and thank you to Ben McJurek for also another $4.99 for Happy Crankmas to you as well, Tim. I'm just going to unstar those so I don't have to see them anymore. And then the first question from the Discord is from Ryan B, which is, where does Shatterass rank in the game's best detachments? What detachments are in the top 3?
It's a good question, actually.
Anthony, you might be muted because I didn't hear it. I saw your mouth moving.
Starshatter is like undoubtedly one of, if not the best detachments they've put out from like a well-roundedness perspective. as Ennis alluded to earlier, lots of people are being greedy fucks with it and using the assault portion of it to mean that they don't have to put anything else other than guns in their list. But in terms of just like what it can do, it has just like its flavor is that it has all the good rules, right? Like there's no real cohesive thing here.
It's running
like,
the same flavor as Gladius, let's be real.
Gladius's thing is that it's flexible at least, right? Like, you know, in theory, at least it kind of makes sense.
Shatter a star.
I mean, fair, but also...
Or just too rigid.
Also, like, Gladius's shit is all once per game, right? Like, you know, you can flex into some of them on one unit, but they're once per game. This is not like a sometimes we have assault. This is always we have assault on everything. That said, Gladius is also one of the best attachments in the game, right?
Yeah, I think it's like Gladius, Bringers of Flame.
Bringers in a vacuum's not that wild, right? Bringers exists in Space Marines, and it's not that crazy.
It has way better strats and sisters than does in Space Marines, contextually, I think. But
Contextually, yes, but the detachment is basically the same.
They're very similar.
Sure.
It's the data sheets that change things and the army rule that changes things.
Yeah,
Okay,
and granted, ranking detachments in a vacuum
is stupid.
In a nicest way possible is kind of dumb. In the context of what Necrons were missing, though, I think Starshatter does some of the most for any detachment in the game to round out what an army needs.
Yeah. What else stands out to you then?
I mean, Cult of Magic is the obvious like next one where it's just like you can do what?
Yeah. Battle Host the same, I think.
Which one?
Battle Host Eldar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That
sure.
does just everything as well.
Yeah.
The number of times people are like, it's a fallback, shoot, and charge for 1 CP. Yeah, it does a lot.
Yeah.
What else does really, really stand out?
I mean, the World Eater one is
Bully
fucking
Boys
nuts.
is fantastic. It's just kind of pigeoned with some data sheet stuff.
Though I actually think Bully's too narrow to fit on this list. World Eaters is buck wild too.
Yeah, Invasion Fleet as well. I think kind of gets.
I would
up
put
there.
Invasion Fleet up there.
Yep.
Reanimation, 5 up Feel No Pain, army-wide damage output. Just it does like all the detachments that just kind of like do a bit of everything tend to be the best detachments. There's a lot of stuff that's like this detachment is really good when its data sheets are good, but a lot of these are just kind of like the detachment is good regardless of what's good around it. So you see like Storm Lance for Space Wolves is good when Thunderwolf Cavalry are good, but if Thunderwolf Cavalry aren't good in the metagame, it doesn't really matter that Storm Lance is a good detachment for Thunderwolf Cavalry. Like it doesn't really get there. It's a very narrow and inflexible detachment.
Right.
So I think, maybe there's a world where that's true for Bringers of Flame as well. We've just never seen it for Sisters.
Yeah, it just hasn't happened yet.
Hypercrypt, another one that's kind of in that same vein, right? Like Hypercrypt's just a massive attachment. It doesn't really matter what's around it. Teleport Strike Force for Grey Knights as well, right? Mr. Deimos is just always going to be a massive stratagem. Whatever you're supporting with might not be powerful, but the detachment itself is very, very strong.
Yeah,
It's not super narrow.
I think the fact that the Purified detachment came out and basically immediately competed with Teleport Strike Force shows us that Teleport Strike Force wasn't this like unreplaceable thing everyone thought it is, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair. I think that's partly because the army rule is the teleport rather than it being the other way around, right? Like for Hypercrypt.
Sure. Hypercrypt is very different though, right? Hypercrypt in the context of the slow like Necron hordes is a very different thing than like the army that already teleports getting.
And Teleport Strike also has, all of the things that just make it work.
Sure.
With the 3-inch deep strike, mists, that ability to just constantly control the tempo. But then you look at
that stuff is all very good, but like because Grey Knights is an army without rerolls, like it doesn't even have fucking.
Which is why the new
anywhere.
one is just like, hey, here's rerolls on everything.
Exactly.
We had another super chat from KR Quintero, which was just made turkey / andouille gumbo. Do you prefer seafood gumbo?
No,
Meat gumbo.
what you just said sounds fucking incredible.
That sounds delicious.
Holy moly!
I mean, a good sausage gumbo is always just
100%.
That's actually one of my favorite foods.
Gumbo is great.
Top 3. Yeah.
In fact, most Cajun food, amazing. I'm sure there's something out there that's not great, but everything is pretty good.
Yeah.
The next question is... Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
No, I was just going to say the shame that region of the country is so hard to get to and travel around.
True. Also in the South, which is unfortunate for it sometimes.
Yeah.
Pius asks, what needs to happen for another Blunderdome? Is the game balance too good by now?
I think it's not necessarily that the game balance is good, is that they've removed a lot of the really abusive things we would do in the earlier Blunderdomes. Like crisis suits with nothing but fists.
Also, just like a lot of stuff with the legends, it's really hard to build a list that's like cohesively.
Bad on purpose.
It's not that it's sorry. Actually, it's not that it's hard to write a list that's cohesive and bad for Blunderdome. It's that it's hard to write 8 now. There's still like a really easy like 3 or 4 at a time, and then you have to go through like the first round of them just getting like shellacked by like the bad version of Drakari, right? Like, and that happened in the first Blunderdome, right? There was the bad Drakari list that just blew everyone up, and then we tried doing it a second time, and it wasn't as close because there was just like 3 or 4, and then everybody just kind of burned out on the first one. It wasn't that interesting to write up, so it just never gets traction. Like, that was kind of the problem we solved that with on the second installment, like the second proper installment of Blunderdome. I think it'd be really interesting as like a 4-person, like if you were doing like a charity hammer style event of being like, right, we're going to put 4 and we're going to round robin the 4 worst we can do, but trying to run 8 over a long period didn't feel like it was creating interesting content. I think that's kind of my take on it from having been part of but not being involved in like running and organizing it.
Yep, I'd agree.
The next questions are from Frank. How many dreads is too many dreads in Solar Spearhead? Do you think most lists need at least 1 unit of non-Sisters of Silence infantry to be competitive?
I don't think so, but it's probably not a bad idea.
I mean, you got to start with your 3 Caladiuses, and then after you got your 3 Caladiuses, you can put whatever dreads in you want. You could run 2, sure. You could make it worse. No, there's a degree here of the same thing we were talking about with Starshatter, right? Don't be too greedy. You have still got to make the man. You've still got to do your Among Us tasks, right? You can't not play the game.
Although the idea of a Dreadnought just pressing the button for an entire...
You can probably get away with like 3 or 4 units of infantry and then stuff, like damage stuff. But I don't think you can go much more than that, right? The second you're just screening your home field and doing your turn 1 area denial with a real, or your turn 1 containment with a real unit, that's when it starts getting sketchy, and that's the thing I'm always a little concerned about. So I would probably say like 3 or 4. Go for like, if you go for like 2 like Sisters of Silence squads and then like the Sisters Immolator or something like that, or like 2 units of Witch Seekers and a unit of Subductors, like something in that region, right? Like just
the Sisters units are so cheap that you should just be taking them. Like, Custodian Guard are like objectively garbage in my opinion, and if you want to run Draxus, that's like, because you have like weird fan fiction about her or whatever. Fucking Custodes players, it's always the same. Like, you can do that, just do it in Talons. Don't waste your time doing that in like this detachment. This detachment lets you run so many fucking Dreadnoughts, especially because half of them you get 2 Dreadnoughts when you pay for 1. You might as well just do that. The only infantry unit that isn't Sisters of Silence that I would even vaguely consider running is the Blade Champion with the damage buff in a 5-mana Wardens as like a rapid ingress thing, because you're going to be creating space by using Dreadnoughts, which opens up a good rapid ingress. That is now very scary. But past that, do not bother. You're just making your list worse. Also, take the stupid Codex Dread. That thing is fucking nuts.
Yeah, it is. It's what, 160 points?
Sure does stand about well.
I mean, the multi-multa into the fist, into like that shit is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't look as
cool. True. Frank asks is, what would bikes need to be viable in that detachment? Because it's named after the bike shield host. How would you make them?
I think they need datasheet changes. I
don't even think datasheet changes are enough. That like I mean, they'd have to be like very significant datasheet changes, I should say. I don't think that they just like their movement characteristic relative to their shape is just bad. Like, I don't know. They would need like always on assault.
I mean, maybe. Would you run 9 of them at 100 points a squad?
Yes.
100 points for
100 points for 3.
I guess, but like...
So, like, there is a points value in here where they are a...
Which means that there's also a datasheet rewrite where it's possible.
That is a fucking terrible argument, you know it?
Hey, like, I'm just saying, you can points drop them to the point where they're in every list. You could. You shouldn't. You could.
Yeah, I mean, yes, sure. If the bikes are 30 points each, then yeah, you'll do it. But, like, I think you're, like, missing the forest for the trees a little bit is the point I'm trying to make.
I think that unit has very real opportunity cost for any of the abilities in this attachment, where in order to make them playable at the points value they are, you have to have a significant reason to do it over just using it on better data sheets like Caladiuses and Dreadnoughts or Blade Champions. Like, yeah. And that means they would have to be either very cheap or do something significantly different.
Yeah. Fly is not enough anymore. Fly used to be enough. Fly is not enough for them now.
Yeah,
The
like
real
their melee
ones to hit
profile is
wound
basically the same as
detachment.
Venatari. So
Yeah, true. Venatari
Don't know
rapid
Venatari in
ingress.
this detachment.
Yeah, Venatari rapid ingress and full free. So the problem with Custodes is that the Warden's datasheet is so fucked, like durability wise, that the minute you're like, oh well, I'll take this other thing that doesn't have a feel no pain. The other person, the person across from the table, their eyes glow and they're like, you mean I can just hit it and then we're done? You fail the 4-up and that's it? Holy shit!
and also notably doesn't have -1 to wound.
Yeah, those are huge differences, dude. People just keep, yeah. If your army, like, I think if you put 3,000 points of, like, Custodes that weren't Wardens in front of a Tyranids army, they would rip it off the board in a turn. Dude, Tyranids kill
Like
elite
Custodes
infantry.
infantry? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tyranids kill elite infantry at the speed of sound. Like, yeah.
Can't make infantry durable enough that Tyranids don't kill it. It's a true statement.
That's true. Yeah, you can. They are, for whatever reason, God's gift to damage 3. Now, granted, everything does damage 3 in that army. Tyrant's big scary sword, 3. Fucking Norn emissary, 300-point monster. You guessed it, also damage 3. But you know, they got a lot of it.
You certainly do.
The next
Alright.
question is from Goran, which is, which of the current Grotmess detachments are you most eager to put on the table, and which you totally don't want to put on the table? So pick like your favorite and least favorite, I suppose.
I mean, least favorite is the Thousand Suns one. That one is just
True.
That's my favorite.
not good.
yeah, but that's because it's bad for Thousand Suns.
Correct.
Yeah, you don't want to put that on the table. You want to see
No,
that
I-
on the other side of the table across from you.
I mean, yeah, whatever. I just want it to be on the table, you know? And it's never going to be me playing the Thousand Suns, so...
I mean, the one that I'm most excited is the Dark Angels one, just because I haven't had the time to play around with it since we got it. So I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, once you play it, it'll disabuse you of that notion, so...
I think of the ones I've played so far, I had the most fun with Flyblon Host. And the one I hate the most is the Tyrannid one. I just despise it. I can't stand it. It bugs me so much. Annoys me on a fundamental level.
bugs you.
I do think that the assassin detachment is just fun, and I kind of want to play it. I just want to put it on the table because it seems
I bet it'll
silly.
be great in Crusade, Nathan.
I'm gonna...
I don't play Crusade anymore. It's nonsense.
yeah.
Also, the assassins are epic characters. They don't get upgrades.
Epic heroes, sir.
Sorry, epic.
Watch
heroes.
it.
My mistake.
Well, they don't need enhancements because they have instead.
I hate that you
Extremis
have to take
abilities.
those. I hate
Extremis
so much that you have
abilities.
to take them. The fact that you have to buy the Colexus grenade on 3s for 40 fucking points.
Whoa, you
It
get
insults so
you get
much.
a second
I really
battle
wish you
shock
could
out of
take-
that, sir.
I wish
Yeah,
you could
dude,
take
great.
two
The
of each
Collectus definitely
assassin
lives a
as
turn.
well. That'd be great.
2 of each assassin instead of that would actually be really cool. But I will admit it's very funny to point at the Eversor in front of you that you want to just send into your opponent and say he can do that twice because he's definitely going to be there the second time.
Yeah, 100%.
He will, surely, of
He's
course.
definitely going to live. Now, my
However,
my
the
actual
Vindicar being
favorite-
able to pop off his shieldbreaker round twice is very funny.
It is fun.
Surely the most fun thing is being able to look at 1,000 Sons of Infernal Master, rapid ingress 6.1 away from him and go, no, 1 CP, you can't shoot me, and then definitely kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yes, that
Fuck
is
that
funny.
guy.
All right.
Now you don't even have to worry about it. Or you go down
Actually,
11
what I
away
want to
from him,
watch
he run away
is
from
I
you.
want to watch someone shoot a Colexus into a Grey Knight Terminator squad
Just
with the
can't
strat
cheat.
that makes her attack
Damage
her shooting flat 3 damage.
Yeah.
Just
Too
gotta
bad
go
there's-
bam.
Too bad the shooting is not Dev,
No, it's
It's
good
only
that it's not
special.
dev because it means that the librarian can't protect you.
I guess. Lame.
All right. The next question is from Christos.
That's me.
Have you seen the secret level Space Marine episode? They just released all the secret level stuff today. I haven't been able to see it. I came straight from work to record this show.
I intend on watching it either tonight or tomorrow, but all of the reviews have been fantastic. A lot of people have been saying it really has the vibe of the old Astartes series, which sounds amazing. So
Apparently, it cracked so hard that Amazon confirmed the future of the 40K show.
I think they just happened to do both in the same day, but
Yeah.
I'll watch it eventually.
I mean, the trailer I saw was fucking wild. Like the combat
Yes.
in the trailer was gas. So we'll see.
I care so
I'm
little
really
about 40K lore.
excited to watch
content.
all that stuff. It has nothing to do with lore.
Yeah, this
really.
isn't
It's
lore.
just-
You know what I mean,
It's
though.
just some
I
Marines doing
don't
some stuff.
really care about the Warhammer universe very much.
Oh, that's crazy.
So
I mean, reasonable. Everyone
Alright.
interacts in
I
that
don't
way.
really like sci-fi. It's weird for playing as much for playing a sci-fi game, but like sci-fi, I significantly prefer like fantasy as a genre. So
All right, we're just going to
That
skip
is-
over all of Innis's nonsense and go to Preston's question.
That's fair.
How much trouble would I get in if I planned a weekend away at a bed and breakfast and snuck off to play in the snow while she's at a spa? Why would that be a problem? She's at a spa. You're not sneaking out. Go have an activity.
Unless there was like a planned couples massage or something, you're fine.
Yeah.
I don't think she. I think if anything, I think she would be very happy that you are happy while she is getting pampered.
Dude, I feel like
take
it's
them out in the snow.
Yeah,
take
just
the
We'll have
spa
fun in the
and
snow together.
Oh,
that's true. You should go enjoy the snow together. You should
I-
enjoy
I'm-
a shared activity.
I'm just imagining Preston just like snow angel laid in the snow outside the spa, like with a joint in his mouth, just like, yeah, this is it.
This could be
This is-
you.
Yeah, this is the good shit.
Getting some red light therapy in the snow.
Yeah. Just like outside, vaguely sunny day, 8 inches of snow. Just, you know.
The next question is from Ben of the Vegas 501st. You have been given a task by the Red Gobbo to create a new core stratagem for all the good gifts. What new core stratagem would you add?
Old heroic. Next question.
Jesus Christ.
That is a good answer, actually. I do
Violence.
like that one.
All right.
Stop move blocking me, you elf pricks.
Lone Up
ASDP to
12
stop.
is a generic strat.
I would say.
Well, I guess
P1
at least they would be
CP to
loan up
prevent
18 because of the
CP.
slate.
Lone
No,
Up-
he said
Lone
12.
Lone Up 11 is a generic stat, so it's
There
not
you
called by
go,
that
because then
rule.
it doesn't get overridden.
Lone Up
Actually, no,
9,
make
so you
make,
can't-
make
Lone
it spicy.
Up
Make
9,
it
so
loan
it
up
can't be from
13.
reserve. Lone Up 9 so it doesn't work. You can use it against reserve units.
Ah!
Lone Up hypercrypt.
1 CP for a 12-inch deny bubble. Like, for.
Oh, that would
just,
actually
like,
probably be pretty reasonable.
Yeah, and you can call it like
Infiltrator.
You guys missed my first, which was pay a CP to stop your opponent from deploying a deep strike unit.
Oh, that's way better. Vect it. Just no.
No!
you know
The,
what?
the Calidus upgrade from the book, but for everybody. You can kill a character to help. You can kill a model to teleport your character anywhere once per game.
Does that apply to
I love
Angron?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
If
okay.
you have a monster, you can.
But he does have to
teleport
fit
that one over.
exactly where that model used
You
to
can
be.
go to any unit of the same data type as you are. So if you're a monster, you go to a monster. If you're
So you can replace
I
the
don't-
Demon Prince with Angron?
Oh, I was like, I don't think
Yeah.
world leaders have monsters. I really had to think about that for a second.
Trust me, there's been a couple times where I've been like, why did this, like, I was reviewing the Death Guard detachment, I was like, why did they have to restrict the full health to infantry model
Demon Princes
only?
Exist.
Yeah, I was like,
I-
oh, right, Demon
It wouldn't
Princes.
even matter.
They really, really
No,
should
it wouldn't have
not.
mattered, but it was
Yeah, they
definitely
re-
funny.
They really should have just let demon princes use that.
Maybe
Would it have been
Demon Princes have a
good?
Detachment in the Death Guard book.
The next question, because there are a few more, is from Gustavo, which is: do you think Deathwatch Terminators at 180 are too pushed? How do you think Deathwatch lists will evolve?
That's 36 points a model. That's exactly
That's
what
fine.
most other Marine Terminators cost. However,
They're just
Deathwatch
fine.
Deathwatch Terminators do have the problem of they get all of the war gear.
That's
Deathwatch Terminators are what Terminators in every generic Terminator should be. They are the version of a playable Terminator data sheet, is that you give them the ability to shoot and fight and make combat, and then they actually do something. They are just fine. They have 15 attacks at damage 2. There are infantry models with that amount of damage output in squads. Chill. They're fine. 180 is completely reasonable for them. They're just a good unit. It's okay for a unit to be good, but they're not insane. Like I played a game with them. They just, they charged a tank and they stood in combat with it for 2 turns because they don't actually do that much damage, and they just, stood there, and it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, the regular Terminators are so bad. Like, we can't be like, oh, they're cheaper or have more gear or whatever than this thing that is absolutely untakeable. Don't make it more like the untakeable thing. That's crazy. Why would you do that?
Yeah, you shouldn't make generic Terminators cheaper. You should make them better, which is what Deathwatch Terminators are. Everybody should just get Deathwatch Terminators. Is actually my take for Space Marines.
All right, there are 3 questions from Isaac and a statement. The statement is that the Astartes creator apparently helped with the secret level.
Oh,
short
that's cool.
for the Space Marines, which is cool.
Makes sense because they do work for GW now.
Yep. On a scale of 1 to 10, how cool would an arcane/shimmer themed GSC army be?
I don't have an answer.
I think there's a lot of other armies that would take that theme better.
I mean, it
I don't
depends
know what that
what
would
kind
look
of.
like.
I mean, if you're doing like the zone, like, it'd be fine. I mean, nothing has blue, nothing has hair in GSC, so you can't have like a Jinx model. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just sculpt hair on a model in a.
Yeah, but they
then it's
don't
not a
have
GSC
hair.
army anymore. Then it's not themed. Like,
Harlequins.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. A lot of people have been floating around the rumor that AOC goes to just
We don't
one
comment on rumors, sorry.
activation.
Yeah.
Where-
But however, the second half of that is assuming this happens is that this happens, isn't that just a buff to shooting while melee is bad since melee is just usually only one big activation? I say no, that is not the case.
No,
I'd
that's
agree with
that's broadly. I
pretty
play
true.
I play a lot of melee. That's pretty true.
yeah,
Like it is
it's
only
generally true.
Yeah, that is almost exclusively only a buff to shooting. You very rarely get gang shit done to you in melee because you have interrupt.
And generally, when you get ganged up in melee, it's because you're very dead anyway, and they're gonna go through you, and not because they're gonna AO, like they're trying to like multi-charge and then like coherency through you, not
Yeah.
because you're gonna AOC and live through it. There are some situations against like very MSU armies like CSM in some
Yeah.
builds that
That's
could matter.
the experience
It's
that
gonna
I've
be
played into
fun.
recently because other armies just haven't reached me, or it's
Yeah,
been multiple MSU activations. So
I play a lot of like big bricky melee activations, and I play a bunch of MSU. MSU asterisk world leader units usually kill the sun, but like either way, I'm very rarely like, oh, I'll use multiple things to kill this thing. The only times I can think of where I've had to do that are like not armies that have AOC access. It's like Wraith
You're basically
Bricks.
looking at like there are like a couple of specific things like Land Raiders and like Deathwing Knights and things like that it
Yeah.
might come up occasionally, but it's almost exclusively going to be a shooting thing.
Yeah, that it's a shooting buff. It's not a melee buff.
It'll be really annoying for like GSC Outlander Claw trying to chew through a fucking JPI squad with 4 units, but whatever, man.
It's mostly nice for it offsets a thing that is stupid, which is that like a lot of the time an AOC thing is functionally -2 to your AP in shooting, and that shit is dumb. Like, part of the upshot of melee is they don't have to deal with cover. Like, it's not 0. I know a lot of people love to like bitch about melee being awful this edition.
No, melee's fine.
But melee's been fairly good all edition once the the initial WTC meta was passed.
Eldar. Yeah, now that once you could make combat with people, it was quite nice.
Yeah, once you could leave your ruin without immediately dying.
All right, the next question is: can Gilman go down more points?
No.
He
No.
probably shouldn't be where he is right now.
That.
yeah, he needs to go back to the 345 he was.
Yeah, that was a
he's
mistake.
wild at 285.
Free strat every turn is really good.
He's just a
Tyranids pay
hive
200
tyrant.
Yeah, Tyranids pay 230 points for the Hive Tyrant chassis, which is so much worse than Gulliman. And then
Yep.
in Tyranids, which has generally worse strats than Gladius and Ironstorm. And then Gulliman's like good in combat, stands back up, is a lone op. You're just like, oh yeah, he's only
He's good.
55 points more than a Hive Tyrant. Like, no, dumb.
Yeah, very good.
The next question just makes me upset, like physically and mentally, which is: you are called in as a judge to a Chaos Knights versus CSM ACDC game. The Chaos Knight wants to eat the other player's cultists. Do you allow it? No! Stop
No,
that!
stop that.
Not only no, I fucking card this dude. Like, if they meant it earnestly and they're not asking as a joke, fucking eat, like, fuck off. No.
I would actively encourage you to eat them like the physical models, but you can't use the rules to kill them.
Yeah.
If you want to eat your opponent's ACDC, do not eat the delicious plastic. StatCheck is strongly opposed to the idea of you eating your opponent's delicious plastic. Please do not eat the delicious plastic.
Correct.
Um,
Just like you shouldn't eat the paints, don't eat
Yeah.
the delicious plastics.
Do not eat the delicious plastic.
All right. Lion's Blade plus Storm Raven? Question mark.
It's funny. It's a meme. I don't think it's actually good.
You could deliver like 1,500 points in one fell swoop. That you
I
will.
Which you will then lose.
One
I-
fell
this is-
swoop
yeah,
with the
I-
Storm Raven. Yes.
honest to God, what Innes talked about that one time is still the closest I've seen that get to a viable list that has like a reason to be played that isn't just
Yeah.
Gladius.
It's like
So
it's pretty reasonable, and then it's still not good. That's the problem. So for anybody who like, the basic concept I was speaking about was basically you put a dreadnought and Azrael and something inside your Stormraven, and then you slam the Stormraven 20 inches directly through a wall at your opponent, charge something with it, 15 Deathwing Knights fall out of the sky, charge that at +2, and then Azrael and his friends and the Dreadnought do something else. And that is, very broadly, somewhere in the region of 12 to 15 points of your army, delivered to your opponent depending on what you put in the transport and how many attached characters you have. And it is not good at killing a second thing, but whatever's in that general area is like reasonably likely to get fucked the hell up.
Yeah, and I mean, 15 Deathwing Knights in your opponent's DZ or opponent's expansion is a problem for them for about a turn and a half.
What? You playing with different Deathwing Knights, dog.
Yes, mine can't roll 4s.
The only thing that prevents Deathwing Knights from just like entirely ruining the game is deliverability.
Yep.
Stormravens can
and
carry
then one of
Deathwing
them can
Knights,
teleport
right?
after. One of them can teleport after. Yes. But the Deathwing Knight's Deep Strike. Put Azrael in.
No,
put Azrael in
I know.
for
I'm
6
more
inches.
thinking of the one that uppies can go back up, and then the rest can get in the Stormraven, and the Stormraven can fly off.
You're probably just using it in hover, I would wager, but sure.
Yeah.
They
Anthony's
still do the same thing.
I think Anthony's suggestion of disallow re-embarks forever might still be a good decision.
All right.
True.
Next question is from Eric, which is, why is Innis too much of a coward to have posted his sample list as including a Stormraven for the Dark Angels detachment?
Because I want the people that are watching my videos to feel like they have a chance of being able to play the list that I come up with, even if they're not perfect.
Yeah.
I want them to be a starting direction, not here is my psychosis stamped forehead first on the screen.
Also,
I begin every list with, there are 4 Stormravens in my garage and I'd like to sell 3 of them on eBay. Let me get the stocks up.
the real trick too is that like the idea with that content is that it's like, hey, here's a reasonable, not entirely skewed way of doing this, right? Like, is Innis's weird skew thing probably the only way to run this that isn't just you being like, it's not Gladius, I swear. Yeah, but that's not what that's not what we're
kind of the
looking for.
approach, right? It's
Yeah.
an earnest attempt to use the detachment in a way that isn't just like, it's kind of take the things that are good in the army, like naturally, adapt it for the things that the detachment tells you to do without going full feral hogs. That's kind of the, like,
Yeah.
hey, we know Blade Champions and Warden Squads work. Let's play them in Solar Spearhead and use the flavor of the detachment to get a list that will be, like, good. Not a list that is the best Solar Spearhead detachment, but if you just want to go and start experimenting with it, here is a place to start. Not, here is the thing, because, like, if I just am out there and I'm like, I think the best way to play Solar Spearhead is 11 Dreads, and the Dreads are just shit, then people are going to put that on the table like, well, why the fuck would I listen to this, right?
Yeah.
Because the risk of a miss is too high when you go that skewed.
Yeah.
For,
and also like
introductory content.
yeah, and in general, like a lot of this stuff like has a reasonable base build. It's not gonna, light the world on fire, but it's fine.
You
They're also
could
meant
you
to
could
be
win a
helpful.
GT with Lions Blade. Like Space Marine data sheets are good. You could
It's
win a GT
fine.
with Lions Blade.
Yeah, I mean you could. Yeah, I almost said some very
The
rude
videos
shit
are
about
intended
Space
to be
Marines.
helpful
Yeah.
as well, right? Like, it feels a little silly to like purposely make something that's not helpful and put it out as content.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
every week we make a show.
That's true, but that's just you, Innis. Jack Chapman asks, what is your least favorite army to play against competitively?
God, it's so close between two of them that I can't pick.
Hypercrypt Necrons.
Necrons every time.
Like
Wow,
Necrons
you-
in general, but
we have such-
Hypercrypt specific.
We have such different lived experiences. You guys should try World Eaters. That matchup's so fun.
No. So my problem is the only people that I have played recently in Necrons have been Kit and Kit.
Yeah, like I said, you should fucking bust out the Eaters, dude. It's a great old time.
I don't have eaters.
That's such a solvable. This is a little baby range. There's so few models in that army.
I'm aware.
Yeah,
I am out of space.
All right, fair enough. It is razor thin. I earnestly couldn't give you an answer between T-Sons and Custodes. I hate playing both of them
That's also true.
just so much. There is no like. I don't like playing against GSC, but at least when you lose to them, they have the good grace to have it be funny. Because it's just like when you get blown out by GSC, it's like not even a thing. You're just like, oh, you have 1 million units. We're playing, 5-year-olds in the backyard, and your anti-laser kills my laser shield or whatever. Woo! But like the losing against T-Sons and Custodes is the worst. Because not only is it suffering in which you have no agency, it's usually not very fast, so you're there for a while they're immortal or untouchable and killing you with impunity. And it's like, okay, I guess we're just gonna do this for the next 3 hours. Sure.
Obviously this is stereotyping, and please take this with a pinch of salt. Watching a Thousand Suns player beat you while you're just like, I can't do anything about your rules, and you're acting like you're good at the game is annoying, and I hate it.
Yeah.
And the Custodians players who are like, oh yeah, man, I just shoved and passed all my saves. Why didn't you just roll better against me? I'm like, how dare you think that this represents you as a player?
Yeah, he played to his outs, dude.
Yep, sure did.
Nailed it.
Could you imagine bringing an army that gave you an out that wasn't roll your forehead across the keyboard?
Ah,
Would it be me?
Outs. He found him.
Tausi has a question. Which
think
is
it
better?
Sorry, wait. I just want to
Oh,
hit a
sorry.
thing real quick because I get shit for this a lot. I don't hate Custodies theoretically. If they were even vaguely what they're like in the books, where they were like this fast elite killer army, I would fucking love them. If they were just like Imperial World Eaters, I would be obsessed. I would never play anything else. If a Custodian was an 8-bound, that would be the end. I would have a bunch of Custodian models with hoods on, done up like Diablo 3 angels, and you would never see me play anything else ever again. But that's not what we got, so I hate them.
I think Custodians models should all be Armiger profile, and then
Dude, that'd be sick!
just you get 7 of them, and that's your fucking army.
Oh, God, that'd be so tight.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
It's like Custodians are single model units. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And then Imperial
first
Knights should get
question-
1 big knight and 3 Armigers in an army.
The first of this questions from Tausi seems pretty focused on making Anthony upset.
That's good.
Which is the better World Eaters heavy infantry skill list from Down Under? The 30 Terminators or my boy Matt's 18 Exalted 9 and 8 bound list that took down Steve Joel's GT this weekend?
Definitely that second one. That list fucking slams. I've played the Giga 8-bound heavy lists before. They get smoke checked in the mirror because the MOE is really good against them. But yeah, as long as you have Angron in your World Eater list, the 8-bound skew is totally acceptable. It's the ones that lose their minds and don't take him and stuff, right?
I think that's what Sako's playing this weekend for us.
Yeah, it's probably something like that. Again, those lists are totally reasonable. It's not what I prefer to play. I think playing World Eaters without a Rhino is kind of tough against a couple matchups that otherwise could be very easy. But yeah, that shit's good. The World Eater, the 8-bound data sheet cracks. And that is all I want out of an army, because Possessed and, Possessed adjacent accessories are my favorite thing in 40k. So I would totally play that.
The second question is, which is the better half an army in a transport plane that goes through walls skew? The Dark Angel Stormraven or the Custodes Orion?
Dark Angel Stormraven, and it cannot be close, right? Because the Custodes
That's-
Orion is fucking jokes.
The Stormraven is actually an okay. It's actually a pretty good data sheet.
it's
It
a
doesn't get a
good
ton of
unit.
Alliance Blade, but it's just okay. The Orion is I am my, it's playing with your 7-year-old in the back garden. You've got a plane. You just got a plane mobile out of Toys R Us.
Yeah, it's literally this big.
You're eating your dinner. You're putting your pizza on top of it during the game to keep it off the table.
Yeah.
The next question is from Willow, which is, I'm tired of Grotmas. What is your model of the year?
What even came out this year?
No idea.
I don't know. All the models in my brain from this year have been replaced by the new Phoenix Lord for the Eldar army. All of my Jeremy, you might be muted. All of my stuff has been replaced by Lycus, the Phoenix Lord for the Warp Spiders. Sorry, guys.
Fucking...
I'm gonna have to go and look at a list of what actually came out this year. 'Cause
Let's
I
do the
have,
next question while that
absolutely
gets
no
looked
picture.
up.
Sure. While we look that up, we'll return to it.
I mean, clearly, if you need
It's
to
not a
vote for
ton,
the
but it's
best
probably
mini,
it's the sister special character though, right? The Black Library one.
oh yeah, the Black
Legends
Library one
one?
that is the best model.
Yeah.
the Legends
Yeah.
one, yes, that's a 45-point loan op if you play with Legends models. This is why you don't play with Legends models, by the way. No, if you want to and you want to go vote, everyone should go vote that the new Inquisitor model is the best model of the year.
I'm having a look. There's only 40 models that came out this year for 40k.
I think it should just be anything from the Necromunda range. Holy moly,
Oh,
that
the
game's-
Malstrain Gene Stealers for me, or the
Yeah.
Malstrain Alpha potentially. But the Malstrain
The
Gene
Malstrain
Stealer kit
Alpha is awesome.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably an Age of Sigmar model because those are all fucking amazing. Like the Skaven giant new rat wizard one.
New
Oh,
Death
that
Wing
one's pretty
Knight
sick,
came out
yeah.
this year.
That model's sick as fuck. The Malstrain Coalescence is definitely the body horror model of the year.
I don't like that model at all.
You uncomfortable by body horror? No.
I know, right? No one would guess that.
All right, we are gonna skip over Eric's question because it's a rumor mongering.
Oh, Shoran came out this year,
Ooh, that's
and
a
the
good
new
one.
the new Varmin Lord for Skaven.
Yeah, the new Vermin Lord's great. Jeff, the Death Company forklift driver, has a question, which is: Are Blood Angels players mad about losing nipple armor because without it, the scouts will starve?
That's probably bad. Yeah, that keeps the scout population down in the BA lists. That guy's Discord handle makes me laugh every time I see it.
Fucking Inquisitor as well. Yeah.
I guess he's a Death Company forklift, which means they put a broken Space Marine inside of a forklift as the driver.
I
and
picture
it's
just
running around going Horus while raising its things up and down.
Oh no! I picture like a literal Death Company guy driving a forklift, just like just gassing it, like going like 8 miles an hour, just. Oh, that's awesome.
Eric, I see that's what you're trying to ask, but it involves a bunch of stuff about Josh Roberts and then asking if it's an outlier in Marines and stuff like that. Jeff, Death Company Forklift, has a second question, which is to ask a more serious Blood Angels question. What about the army might be making it hard for them to convert a good win rate to tournament wins? Is it just running into Guard and GSC?
So the Guard matchup is winnable but challenging. The main problem with Blood Angels is that it's not cheap enough to play the melee skew that it wants to do because it's not the best melee army in the game. This is the fate of all melee armies that are ever not the best one. And that is that you get to be almost as good as one of the other melee armies, which means you get your ass stomped by the combined arms armies because you have to charge into stuff that also can charge you back and shoots you while it's happening. And Blood Angels tries to split that difference, but it's not as good at being a combined arms chapter as something like Dark Angels or Ultras or something like that. So you run into this like weird issue where it's just like pretty good at a lot of stuff, but it's not good enough at any of them. And if it gets much cheaper, it'll just be the best army in the game. So we'll see.
And then with that is the last question for today's show. We're all done. I'm not going to pull any
for 2 minutes. I'm getting the tier list ready to put on the end screen.
All right. I mean, I could spend 2 minutes thanking people from the Church of the High Five, I guess.
There you go.
All right. If you want to get thanked every episode, you can join our $15 a month Crisp High Five tier, where I will. Oh my God, there's an image in it this time. I don't know how I'm supposed to give that one, guys. Jeremy, you're muted again.
Sorry, I've been trying to fix something in the back end. Someone pointed out to me that the national elos that I maintain haven't been updated in weeks, and I realized it was just broken.
Okay. I'm going to do these call-outs. One of them's an image, and I'm just amused. So if you join this tier, you get thanked, and then you get a bunch of stuff in person if you want it, namely Crisp High Fives and other stuff. But oh my God, now it's bigger. Stop that. I need to be able to read what's going on. All right. Thank you. Christopher was called out to change this to something more interesting by StatsDad. So did you know that your brain is constantly eating itself? Irvine. Thanks, Chris, for changing it.
Only your brain is, Chris.
Thank you, Willow Weeks. Thank you, Dan F. Thank you, Luke, Dan F. McCarthy. Thank you, David Innes. Coaching must work because I lost to one of his clients, Clark. Thank you, bruh. Not gonna NGL, but I'm not risen. RN, no cap, just full Ohio. SMH, my head. FR, period. Thank you, James H. Thank you, Colton. Dan F. Miller. Thank you, Fungus. Thank you, John V8 Gang. Why do I think the new Advent detachments will all sound like the end of the 12 Days of Christmas? 7 uppy downies, 6 3-inch deep strikes, 5 reactive moves. Thank you, Cam, Fdan, Morton, Hog emoji. Thank you, Archon. I was going to make a Wraith Knight joke here, but I'm still in shock at Shatter Ars. Rahal. Thank you, Josiah Gattle. Thank you, Tank Commander Frankie. Thank you, Thomas. An image of equation. Thank you.
I'm pretty
I
sure that's a
just got an
dice, but I'm not entirely sure.
I'm not sure either. And making it bigger doesn't actually make it any easier to parse what it is.
It's definitely someone with a what looks like a beard and square-rimmed glasses, but
I don't know anymore. I'll post the picture in the Chris Pie 5 chat later, and y'all can tell me what it is. Thank you. I just got an idea for a Necron's Grotmist attachment, army-wide, 6-inch scout, and double OC! Exclamation point. Thank you. Get ready for the return of the Harlequins, the Honkening. Thank you. Tom, I just learned how to join the list. Thank you. He thought he could best me. How much god damn it, who moved? Stop moving. Stop.
I will turn off the edit privileges if you people keep doing this. Let him read.
Folks, you need to behave. Thank you, Isaac. I guess putting yourself last is the new meta now. Get wrecked, Rickard. Just like your dreams of winning a GT. Also, I am glad Nathan liked my Eldar list, Tirana.
It's very long.
Thank you. He thought he could best me, but how much like how Innis does. I have defeated Isaac. I specifically changed the order in the spreadsheet so I could have my injury remain last to continue to bring people joy by saying that super heavy walkers should have true line of sight at all times. Yes, folks, you need to stop doing it during the middle of this. All right. Also, the tab names have changed. This one says, why would shooting not cost many points? The next one says nerf spreadsheet tabs. The third one says Curie was here, allegedly. And the fourth one says tab for Anthony's GT faction bribes.
We still have 4 days to come up with
That was
$1,000.
2 days. 2 days. 2 days.
That was especially chaotic, you bunch of goblins. Please don't edit it while I'm trying to read it, though. That is
I
extremely
will lock
confusing.
the page if you guys keep doing that.
Yeah, I do need to be able to read it.
Oh,
Here's the tier list for all of you non-podcast watchers, listeners.
what?
But this is the tier list. The tier list is S tier, GSC, Guard, Death Guard, A tier, Necrons, Adeptus Sororitas, Tyranids, Demons, World Eaters. B tier is Thousand Sons and Tau. C tier is Chaos Space Marines, Custodes, Blood Angels, and Chaos Knights. D tier is Dark Angels, Orcs, Votan and Drukhari. F tier is Space Wolves, Death Watch, Imperial Knights, Adeptus Mechanicus, Eldari, Black Templar, Grey Knights, and the Space Marines. I think that's actually Imperial Agents for the Death Watch.
It is Imperial Agents, yeah.
Yep. And
All right, guys.
that is the tier list.
I think that's it from us. Hopefully, we'll be with you sometime this week for some data slate content. Very best of luck if you're at a tournament this weekend. If you do, come and say hi if you're at any of us are at. Leave myself and Anthony both at events. You an event this weekend, Jeremy?
I'm running a learner event again this weekend.
If you're at Jeremy's learner event, go and say hi. I don't know why you're watching Stat Check, but good luck.
Maybe you heard about me. And then next weekend, I'm running a 1,000-point tournament that is designed as an introduction to competitive play. So if you're in the Ottawa area, come on out to that. It is called the December to Dismember because I can speak clearly.
We all are.
Yeah,
at
like the
this
next
point.
3 events are ones I'm running, and then I'll be at LVO along with Innes.
Sick.
Amazing.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us for episode 118 of Stat Check. We'll be back with you next Tuesday. I don't know yet. Next week we'll be here. The week after that's the 24th of December. We might do something short and casual, people who are available. But I think it's maybe there probably won't be a show. And the one after that's going to be December 31st, which it runs over
We'll
midnight for
probably have a
me.
show.
So I will probably be here, but I don't know. I
We'll-
might
we'll
be
see.
here and dip out halfway or
Figure it
something like
out.
that. We'll figure
At
it
the
out.
very least, we will all see you next week.
And
then
if we're
maybe
not
we
here
won't
for
a
those
couple
weeks, I'll make sure that there's some bonus content going up over the time to tide people over through the festive period. With that all said, thank you everybody for being with us, and
No,
Bye.
thank you for saying hi, Baptiste.